Welcome to Milky Narratives. Tonight, take a deep breath, let your body relax, and allow the worries of the day to slowly fade away. Together, we'll enter the quiet and often overlooked world of fungi, a realm of ancient forests, hidden networks, and remarkable organisms that thrive in silence. As you listen, let your imagination wander through the forest floor and drift peacefully into the story. 1. The forest's invisible internet. Tonight, before sleep gently carries you away, imagine standing alone in an ancient forest. The air is cool. The ground beneath your feet is soft with fallen leaves. Towering trees stretch into the darkness above, their branches disappearing into the night sky. Everything seems peaceful, still, silent. But what if I told you that beneath every step you take, something extraordinary is happening? Something hidden, something alive. A vast underground network so enormous that scientists are still struggling to fully understand it. A living web connecting trees, plants, insects, bacteria, and fungi together across entire forests. A secret world that has been operating beneath our feet for hundreds of millions of years. And chances are, you have walked over it thousands of times without ever realizing it existed. Because beneath the forest floor lies what some scientists have nicknamed the Wood Wide Web. Not a network built from computers, not cables, not satellites, but countless threads of fungi, tiny living filaments called mycelium. Each thread is thinner than a human hair, yet together they form one of the largest biological structures on Earth. A single teaspoon of healthy forest soil may contain kilometers of fungal threads woven through the darkness. Kilometers, hidden inside something small enough to fit on a spoon. At first glance, mushrooms seem simple. A cap, a stem, something that appears after rain and disappears a few days later. But the mushroom we see is only a tiny fraction of the organism. The visible mushroom is merely the fruit, the reproductive structure, the equivalent of an apple growing from a tree. The real organism often lives underground, invisible, spreading silently through soil, roots, fallen logs, and even stone. If you could somehow peel away the forest floor and look beneath it, you would discover an intricate network stretching in every direction, white threads branching and reconnecting, crossing over one another, expanding endlessly through the darkness. A biological internet that existed long before humans invented technology. And unlike our internet, this network is alive. For decades, scientists believed trees were mostly independent organisms, each tree competing with its neighbors for sunlight, water, and nutrients. Survival of the fittest, a silent battle taking place across the forest. But then, researchers began uncovering something surprising. Trees were not merely competing, they were communicating, and fungi appeared to be helping them do it. The roots of trees often connect with fungal networks through partnerships called mycorrhizae. The word means fungus root. The arrangement is remarkably elegant. The tree produces sugars through photosynthesis. The fungus gathers water and minerals from the soil. Then they exchange resources, a trade agreement older than dinosaurs. Both partners benefit. The fungus receives energy, the tree receives nutrients. But the relationship may go even deeper than simple trade. Experiments have shown that resources can move through fungal networks from one plant to another. Carbon, nitrogen, water, chemical signals, sometimes even warning messages. When one tree experiences stress from drought, disease, or insect attack, neighboring trees connected through fungal networks may begin adjusting their defenses before the threat reaches them. Imagine that for a moment. A forest where information travels underground, not through words, not through thoughts, but through chemistry. A silent conversation taking place beneath every root. The idea sounds almost unbelievable, like something from science fiction. Yet evidence continues to reveal just how interconnected forest life truly is. Some researchers have observed older trees supporting younger seedlings through shared fungal networks. These giant trees are sometimes called mother trees. Their extensive root systems connect to countless younger plants. Resources appear to flow through these underground pathways, helping seedlings survive in the deep shade where sunlight is scarce. It is a beautiful image, an ancient giant quietly helping the next generation grow, not through intention, not through emotion, but through millions of years of evolutionary relationships. And fungi sit at the center of it all. The engineers, the connectors, the hidden architects. What makes this even more astonishing is the scale. Some fungal networks stretch across enormous areas. One famous fungus discovered in North America covers more than 3 square miles. It may be thousands of years old, perhaps even older than entire civilizations. Imagine a living organism that began growing before the construction of many human monuments. An organism still quietly expanding today, thread by thread, season after season, century after century, while empires rose and fell above it. Most of us think of intelligence as something that requires a brain, neurons, thoughts, conscious decisions. Fungi possess none of these things, and yet their networks solve problems with remarkable efficiency. When nutrients become available, fungal growth often reorganizes itself. New routes emerge, old routes disappear. Resources are directed where they are needed most. Scientists studying fungal behavior have even found that fungal networks sometimes create transport pathways resembling solutions to complex optimization problems. No central control, no headquarters, no manager issuing instructions. Just countless microscopic decisions emerging from simple biological rules, a living system adapting continuously to its environment. The forest, it turns out, may be far more dynamic than it appears. What looks still on the surface is constantly changing below. Roots exploring, fungi connecting, nutrients moving, signals traveling, life negotiating with life. And perhaps that is the most remarkable lesson hidden beneath the soil. Nothing truly exists alone. The towering tree depends on fungi. The fungi depend on plants. The plants depend on insects. The insects depend on ecosystems. Every living thing is part of something larger, a network, a relationship, a conversation. So the next time you walk through a forest, pause for a moment. Look at the trees, listen to the silence, and remember that beneath your feet lies an invisible world older than humanity itself. A living internet woven from fungal threads, patient, ancient, endlessly connected. A hidden kingdom quietly holding the forest together while the rest of the world sleeps. 2. The mushrooms that control other creatures. Some mushrooms don't chase prey, don't run, and don't hunt. Yet they can alter the behavior of insects with astonishing precision. At first, that sounds less like biology and more like science fiction. We tend to imagine control as something active, a predator lunging through the grass, a hawk diving from the sky, a wolf tracking a scent through the forest. But fungi operate differently. They rarely move in ways we can easily see. They possess no muscles, no eyes, no teeth, no nervous systems. And yet, hidden beneath the leaves of tropical forests, certain fungi have evolved strategies so sophisticated that they can influence the actions of another living creature, not through force, not through intelligence, but through chemistry. Tonight, as we continue our quiet journey through the hidden kingdom of mushrooms, we enter one of the strangest chapters in all of nature. A world where tiny fungal spores can reshape the destiny of insects. A world where behavior itself becomes a tool of survival, and where some of the most extraordinary biological interactions on Earth unfold in complete silence. Imagine a rainforest after a warm afternoon rain. The air is thick with moisture. Water drips slowly from giant leaves. The forest floor is alive with movement. Ants march along invisible highways. Beetles crawl through decaying wood. Termites tunnel beneath fallen logs. Every creature is busy. Every creature has a role. And somewhere among them drifts a microscopic fungal spore. To the naked eye, it is invisible. To the forest, it is simply another traveler. But for one unlucky insect, it may become the beginning of an entirely different story. When the spore lands on a suitable host, it begins an extraordinary process. First, it attaches itself to the insect's outer shell. Then it germinates. Tiny fungal threads emerge. Enzymes begin breaking through the protective exoskeleton. Slowly, patiently, the fungus enters the body. From the outside, almost nothing appears to change. The insect continues walking, it continues feeding, it continues carrying out its daily routines. But beneath the surface, another organism has begun to grow. The most famous example belongs to a group of fungi called cordyceps. For millions of years, these fungi have evolved alongside insects in a biological relationship so specialized that many species of cordyceps infect only a single type of host. Some target ants, others target beetles. Some specialize in caterpillars. Each species has become astonishingly adapted to the biology of its chosen victim. It is one of evolution's most remarkable examples of precision. Scientists once assumed these fungi simply consume their hosts from the inside. The reality proved far more fascinating. Researchers discovered that infected insects often behave differently before death. They leave their normal paths, they climb vegetation, they move to locations that seem strangely advantageous for the fungus, and then they stop, perfectly positioned, exactly where the fungus needs them to be. For years, this phenomenon puzzled scientists. How could a fungus without a brain influence an animal that possesses one? The answer appears to lie in chemistry. The fungus releases compounds that interact with the insect's body. These molecules alter muscle activity, internal signaling pathways, and behavioral responses. Rather than directly controlling every movement, the fungus may be changing the insect's internal instructions, like adjusting the settings of a machine rather than grabbing its controls. The result can look eerily deliberate. An ant infected by certain cordyceps species may leave its colony and climb upward into the vegetation. There, it bites firmly onto the underside of a leaf or twig. Researchers sometimes call this the death grip. Once attached, the ant remains locked in place. Eventually, the fungus consumes the remaining tissues and grows a fruiting structure from the body. From this elevated position, spores can be released over a wide area. For the fungus, height means opportunity. More wind, more dispersal, more chances for future generations. What appears horrific to us is, from nature's perspective, simply a reproductive strategy refined over millions of years. Nature does not distinguish between beautiful and unsettling. It rewards only what works, and sometimes what works is astonishingly strange. The remarkable thing is that these fungal relationships rarely threaten entire insect populations. In fact, they often help maintain ecological balance. Without predators, parasites, diseases, and fungi, certain species could grow unchecked. Forests thrive because countless organisms limit one another. Life exists in balance, a balance maintained through millions of invisible interactions. Cordyceps is not an exception. It is one thread in a vast ecological tapestry, and when viewed from that perspective, the story becomes less frightening and more fascinating, because it reveals something profound about evolution. Life does not merely adapt to environments. Life adapts to other life. Every species becomes part of the environment for countless others. Predators shape prey, plants shape insects, microbes shape animals, and fungi shape nearly everything. The deeper scientists investigate fungal biology, the more surprising these relationships become. Some fungi manipulate insect behavior. Others attract insects using scent. Some mimic flowers. Others produce chemicals that influence entire microbial communities underground. The fungal kingdom seems endlessly inventive. Its solutions are rarely obvious. Often they are hidden, quiet, almost invisible, like most of the important processes that keep ecosystems functioning. And perhaps that is what makes fungi so captivating. They remind us that power does not always announce itself. Sometimes the most influential forces in nature are the ones we never notice. A towering tree captures our attention. A roaring waterfall demands it. But beneath both lies a hidden network of fungi, quietly recycling nutrients, supporting roots, feeding soil, and shaping entire ecosystems. Even the infamous zombie ant fungus ultimately serves the forest. The insect becomes nourishment, the fungus spreads. Nutrients return to the soil. Life continues. Nothing is wasted. Everything becomes part of another cycle. And as the rainforest settles into the darkness of evening, the drama disappears from view. The infected ant, the growing fungus, the drifting spores, all hidden beneath leaves and shadows. Yet the process continues, patiently, silently, just as it has for millions of years. a reminder that some of nature's most extraordinary stories unfold beyond human sight. Not in the open sky, not among the largest animals, but in the tiny, hidden worlds beneath our feet. Worlds where mushrooms do not hunt, do not chase, do not run, and yet somehow manage to influence the behavior of another living creature through nothing more than the elegant chemistry of evolution. The deeper we look into the fungal kingdom, the stranger it becomes. And in the next chapter of our journey, we will discover that controlling insects is only one of the many astonishing abilities fungi have evolved over Earth's long history. 3. The underground cities we never see. The largest living organisms on Earth may not be whales, elephants, or giant trees, but sprawling fungal kingdoms hidden beneath the ground. When we imagine giant life forms, our minds usually travel toward the obvious. Blue whales gliding through dark oceans, towering redwood forests reaching into the sky, ancient sequoias standing silently for thousands of years. Size, after all, seems easy to recognize. We see height, we see weight, we see enormous bodies occupying enormous spaces. But fungi challenge that intuition, because some of the largest organisms on Earth are almost completely invisible. They do not tower above us. They do not cast shadows. They do not roar, migrate, or bloom. Instead, they spread quietly beneath our feet, growing through soil, threading through roots, crossing streams, wrapping around rocks, expanding year after year until they cover areas so vast that they begin to resemble entire underground cities. And perhaps the strangest part of all is this: most people walk above them every day without ever knowing they exist. Tonight, as we continue our slow journey into the hidden kingdom of fungi, we descend beneath the forest floor, into a world without sunlight, a world without roads, a world where millions of tiny fungal threads weave together into networks older than human civilizations, a world that may represent some of the largest living beings our planet has ever produced. The mushroom we see above ground is only a tiny fraction of the story. In many ways, it is more like a fruit, a temporary structure, a reproductive organ, a brief appearance above the surface. The real organism often lies below, hidden within the earth. There, microscopic strands called hyphae spread outward in every direction. Each thread is thinner than a human hair, delicate, fragile, almost impossibly small. Yet together they form vast interconnected networks known as mycelium. And unlike the mushroom itself, which may survive only days or weeks, the mycelium can live for decades, centuries, or even millennia. As the network expands, it explores the soil, searching for nutrients, finding moisture, breaking down fallen leaves, digesting dead wood, trading resources with plant roots, connecting one corner of the forest to another, slowly, patiently, without rest. The result is something astonishing. A living structure that can extend for kilometers underground. An organism so large that no single human can ever see it all at once. One of the most famous examples lies beneath the forests of Oregon. Scientists studying fungal DNA discovered that countless mushrooms scattered across the landscape belonged to a single organism. Not dozens, not hundreds. One. A giant honey fungus spreading beneath the forest floor, covering more than 3 square miles. Thousands of acres connected by a single genetic identity. It is often described as the largest known organism on Earth. Imagine that for a moment. An individual living thing larger than many cities. Not because it stands high above the landscape, but because it quietly occupies the soil beneath it, its body stretching through darkness in every direction, its existence hidden beneath roots and stones. And it is not alone. Around the world, enormous fungal networks continue expanding beneath forests, grasslands, and mountains. Most remain undiscovered, partly because they are difficult to identify, and partly because we rarely think to look. Human attention naturally drifts upward, toward birds, toward trees, toward clouds. Yet some of the most important ecosystems on Earth exist below our gaze. Beneath every forest lies another forest. A forest made not of trunks and branches, but of filaments and threads. An underground city built from living connections. Scientists sometimes compare mycelium to transportation networks. The analogy is not perfect, but it is useful. Nutrients move along fungal pathways. Water can travel through fungal networks. Chemical signals pass from one region to another. Resources shift toward areas where they are needed most. A forest that appears composed of separate individual trees may actually be linked through fungal partnerships operating below the surface. This hidden world has inspired countless researchers, because every year new discoveries reveal that fungal networks are even more complex than previously imagined. Some fungi help seedlings survive drought. Others assist trees in accessing nutrients trapped deep within the soil. Some connect multiple plant species simultaneously, creating relationships that blur the line between individual organisms and ecological communities. The forest viewed from above looks like a collection of separate lives. The forest viewed from below begins to resemble a conversation. Not a conversation of words, but one of chemistry, signals, resources, responses. A quiet exchange unfolding continuously beneath our feet. Of course, fungi do not think. They do not plan. They do not build cities in the human sense. Yet the comparison feels strangely appropriate, because underground fungal networks display many characteristics we associate with infrastructure: distribution, connection, efficiency, adaptation. They create pathways through which life itself moves, and perhaps that is why they feel so captivating. They challenge our understanding of what an organism can be. Most animals exist as clearly defined bodies. You can point to the edge of a wolf. You can identify the boundary of a whale. But where does a giant fungal network truly end? A single thread may divide into thousands. Those threads may merge, expand, reconnect, continue outward for years. The organism becomes less like an object and more like a landscape, a living geography, a biological continent hidden beneath the soil. And unlike cities built by humans, fungal cities require no architects, no blueprints, no construction crews. They emerge naturally from countless simple interactions. One thread follows moisture, another follows nutrients, a third avoids obstacles. Together they create structures of extraordinary complexity. Order arising from countless tiny decisions made without consciousness. Nature building itself, one filament at a time. There is something deeply humbling about that idea, because it reminds us that intelligence is not the only path to complexity. Forests flourish without planning, coral reefs emerge without design meetings, and fungal kingdoms expand without maps. Life organizes itself through countless interactions occurring across scales too small for us to notice. Yet their effects shape entire ecosystems. Even time feels different underground. Human civilizations rise and fall in centuries. A fungal network may persist through generations, quietly growing, quietly adapting, witnessing storms, droughts, fires, and recoveries, remaining hidden while the visible world changes above it. Long after individual mushrooms appear and vanish, long after leaves fall and regrow, the mycelium remains, patient, steady, enduring. And perhaps that is the greatest lesson hidden within these underground cities. Much of what sustains life is invisible. The most important structures are not always the ones we can see. Beneath every thriving forest lies an intricate network of relationships, connections supporting connections, life supporting life, a hidden architecture holding entire ecosystems together. So the next time you walk through a woodland trail, imagine what lies beneath your footsteps. Not empty dirt, not silent soil, but a sprawling, living kingdom. Ancient highways woven from fungal threads, underground cities stretching farther than the eye could ever follow. Invisible civilizations built by organisms older than forests themselves, quietly working in darkness, patiently connecting the living world together. And perhaps beneath the leaves and roots below you, an enormous fungal kingdom is already there, expanding one thread at a time, waiting unnoticed, just as it has for thousands of years. If you're enjoying this journey into the hidden world of fungi, consider subscribing and let us know what mysterious organism you'd like to explore next. Because the deeper we travel into nature's unseen realms, the more extraordinary they become. 4. The mushrooms that glow in eternal darkness. Imagine walking through a silent forest at midnight and discovering that the ground itself is glowing with living green light. Not moonlight, not fireflies, not some distant lantern hanging among the trees. The light is coming from the forest floor itself. Tiny points of emerald radiance scattered among fallen leaves, soft green halos glowing beneath rotting logs, delicate mushrooms shining quietly in the darkness as though fragments of stars had somehow fallen to earth. At first glance, it feels impossible. Forests belong to the day. The sun feeds the trees. The leaves harvest light. When night arrives, darkness usually takes over. But hidden in certain corners of the world, some organisms have found a way to create their own illumination. And among the most mysterious of these natural lanterns are mushrooms. Tonight, as our journey through the fungal kingdom continues, we step into one of its most magical realms. A realm where biology becomes light, where chemistry paints the darkness, and where mushrooms transform forests into something that resembles an alien dream. For thousands of years, people struggled to explain these glowing woods. Long before scientists understood the chemistry behind bioluminescence, travelers told stories of strange lights appearing among the trees. Hunters reported glowing stumps. Farmers noticed mysterious green patches deep in forests. Sailors carried tales of luminous driftwood washing onto distant shores. In many cultures, these lights became woven into folklore. Some believed spirits inhabited the glowing wood. Others imagined fairies hiding among the roots. Many thought the lights were supernatural warnings or signs from another world. And honestly, it is not difficult to understand why. Even today, standing alone in a forest illuminated by living fungi can feel otherworldly. The glow is not bright enough to read by. It does not flash. It does not flicker. Instead, it produces a gentle, continuous radiance, a steady green light that seems almost impossibly calm, as though the forest itself were breathing softly in the dark. The phenomenon is known as bioluminescence, the ability of living organisms to produce light through chemical reactions inside their bodies. Fireflies do it, certain deep-sea fish do it, some jellyfish do it, and remarkably, dozens of fungal species do it as well. Scientists estimate that more than 100 species of fungi possess some form of bioluminescence. Most belong to groups of mushrooms that grow in humid forests, particularly in tropical and subtropical regions where warm temperatures and abundant moisture support fungal growth year-round. Brazil, Japan, Australia, Malaysia, Puerto Rico. These places host some of the world's most spectacular glowing fungi. Yet despite their beauty, they often remain hidden because few people visit forests in complete darkness, and even fewer know what to look for. The light itself comes from an elegant piece of chemistry. Inside the mushroom, special molecules interact in a controlled reaction. A compound called luciferin combines with oxygen. An enzyme called luciferase helps facilitate the process. Energy is released, and part of that energy emerges as visible light. The result is astonishingly efficient. Unlike a light bulb, which wastes much of its energy as heat, bioluminescent fungi produce what scientists sometimes call cold light. Almost all of the energy becomes illumination. Very little is lost. Nature accomplishing with chemistry what human engineers spent centuries trying to perfect. But this raises an obvious question. Why glow at all? Producing light requires energy, and in nature, energy is precious. Nothing evolves without reason. Scientists have spent decades investigating this mystery. One leading theory involves insects. At night, glowing mushrooms become highly visible against the dark forest floor. Flying insects are naturally drawn toward light sources. As they land on the mushrooms, spores can attach to their bodies. When the insects leave, they carry those spores into new environments. In essence, the mushroom may be advertising itself. Using light as a beacon. A biological billboard visible across the darkness. Not unlike flowers using bright colors during daylight hours. Another possibility is that bioluminescence evolved for multiple reasons simultaneously. Nature often reuses successful adaptations. A trait that begins for one purpose may later serve another. The full story remains uncertain. And perhaps that mystery makes glowing fungi even more captivating. Because despite centuries of study, nature still keeps some of its secrets. Imagine standing in a rainforest after sunset. The daytime chorus of birds has faded. Mist drifts through the undergrowth. The air smells of wet leaves and distant rain. At first, everything appears black. Then your eyes adjust. Gradually, shapes emerge. tree trunks, ferns, fallen branches. And then you notice something unexpected. A faint green glow beneath a log, another beneath a cluster of roots, then dozens more, tiny lights scattered throughout the forest. Not bright, not dramatic, just enough to transform the darkness. The experience feels less like observing an ecosystem and more like entering a different world entirely, a hidden version of Earth that only reveals itself after the sun disappears. Perhaps that is why glowing fungi have inspired human imagination for so long. They blur the boundary between science and wonder. We know the chemistry, we understand the molecules, we can explain the evolutionary mechanisms. Yet none of that diminishes the experience. Knowledge does not erase beauty. If anything, it deepens it. Because now we understand that every point of green light represents millions of years of evolution. Countless generations refining a strategy until chemistry itself became illumination. The mushroom is not trying to be beautiful. It is simply surviving. And yet beauty emerges anyway. Again and again, nature demonstrates this remarkable pattern. Efficiency becomes elegance. Function becomes art. Survival becomes wonder. Glowing mushrooms are among the finest examples of this truth. They remind us that life is endlessly inventive, that even organisms without brains can evolve solutions that feel almost magical, and that some of Earth's greatest marvels remain hidden from ordinary view. Most people will never see a bioluminescent forest. Most will walk through life unaware that living lights glow beneath leaves on certain nights. Yet those lights exist whether we notice them or not, patiently shining, quietly illuminating the darkness, performing the same ancient chemistry their ancestors performed thousands of generations ago. There is something comforting about that, a reminder that wonder does not depend on human attention. The world remains extraordinary, even when nobody is watching. The mushrooms continue glowing, the spores continue drifting, the forest continues breathing, and deep within the darkness, life continues finding ways to create light. As our eyes linger on those emerald lanterns beneath the trees, we begin to realize something profound. Darkness is never truly empty. Even in the quietest corners of the earth, life is still at work, still evolving, still creating beauty, still finding ways to shine. And as we continue deeper into the fungal kingdom, we will soon discover that light is only one of the extraordinary tools mushrooms have developed to survive in a world far stranger than most of us ever imagine. 5. Ancient fungi that witnessed lost worlds. Long before flowers bloomed, before birds sang, and before dinosaurs ruled the earth, fungi were already quietly shaping the planet. Imagine standing on Earth not thousands of years ago, not millions, but nearly 1 billion years in the past. The world would be almost unrecognizable. No forests, no grasslands, no flowers swaying in the wind, no mammals, no insects, no birds filling the air with song. The continents themselves looked different. The oceans held strange forms of life unlike anything familiar today. The land, meanwhile, appeared barren. A vast landscape of naked rock, volcanic plains, and mineral-rich shorelines stretching toward the horizon. It would seem lifeless, silent, empty. And yet, hidden within that ancient world, some of the ancestors of modern fungi were already here, quietly surviving, quietly adapting, quietly preparing the planet for everything that would come after. Tonight, as our journey through the kingdom of mushrooms continues, we travel farther into the past than ever before, into lost worlds long erased by time, into ecosystems that vanished hundreds of millions of years ago, and into the story of fungi, the ancient survivors that witnessed nearly every chapter in Earth's history. When we think about ancient life, dinosaurs usually dominate our imagination. Gigantic reptiles, towering predators, thunderous footsteps across prehistoric landscapes. But dinosaurs arrived surprisingly late in Earth's story. By the time the first dinosaur appeared, fungi had already existed for hundreds of millions of years. Their lineage reaches back so far that it begins to challenge our sense of time itself. Scientists studying fossil evidence have discovered fungal remains dating back more than 400 million years. Some evidence suggests fungal ancestors may extend much farther, perhaps approaching 1 billion years into the past. To appreciate how extraordinary that is, consider this. The entire age of dinosaurs lasted roughly 165 million years. Fungi may have already been ancient when the first dinosaur egg hatched. They were not newcomers. They were veterans. Ancient architects of ecosystems long forgotten. One of the most important moments in Earth's history was the colonization of land. Life began in the oceans. For billions of years, nearly all organisms remained confined to water. The land was harsh, dry, bombarded by ultraviolet radiation, poor in nutrients, difficult to survive. Yet eventually, plants began making the journey ashore. And evidence increasingly suggests that fungi helped make that transition possible. Early plants faced enormous challenges. Their roots were primitive. Their ability to gather nutrients was limited. The rocky surface of ancient Earth offered little support. Fungi changed that. Just as they do today, ancient fungi formed partnerships with plant ancestors. Tiny fungal filaments extended into cracks in the rock. They extracted minerals, gathered nutrients, transported resources. In exchange, plants shared sugars produced through photosynthesis. A partnership was born, one that continues to this day beneath forests across the world. Without fungi, plants may have struggled to establish themselves on land. Without plants, forests would never emerge. Without forests, complex terrestrial ecosystems might never develop. The modern world owes more to fungi than we often realize. In many ways, they helped build the stage upon which life would later flourish. As plants spread, fungi spread alongside them. Together they transformed the surface of Earth. Roots broke apart stone, fungi accelerated weathering, organic matter accumulated, soils formed. The once barren continents slowly became fertile. Life was reshaping the planet, one microscopic filament at a time. Then came forests. The first true forests appeared hundreds of millions of years ago, but they looked very different from today's woodlands. There were no flowering plants, no oak trees, no maple leaves. Instead, giant primitive plants dominated the landscape. Towering club mosses, strange tree-like ferns, ancient relatives of modern horsetails. Some reached heights exceeding 30 meters. The forests must have seemed alien, like something from another planet. And among them lived fungi, recycling fallen wood, breaking down dead plants, maintaining the flow of nutrients. Even then, they were performing the same ecological roles they perform today. Life changed, continents drifted, species appeared and vanished, but fungi remained, patiently adapting through every transformation. Then came one of the most extraordinary periods in Earth's history, the Age of Giants. Long before dinosaurs reached their greatest sizes, something unusual appeared in prehistoric landscapes. Massive, towering structures rising from the ground. Some stood over 8 meters tall. For decades, scientists debated what these mysterious fossils represented. Ancient trees, gigantic algae, unknown organisms. The fossils became known as prototaxites. And eventually, evidence pointed toward a surprising conclusion. They were likely enormous fungi. Imagine that. Before forests resembled anything familiar, giant fungus-like organisms may have stood taller than many trees, their immense trunks dominating ancient landscapes, their presence so strange that modern scientists struggled to understand them. If true, Earth once belonged not only to giant animals and giant plants, but also to giant fungi. Entire worlds have come and gone since then. Mass extinctions have repeatedly reshaped life. The Permian extinction nearly wiped out everything. The asteroid that ended the age of dinosaurs transformed global ecosystems. Ice ages advanced and retreated. Continents collided and separated. Through it all, fungi endured. Their resilience is remarkable. Because fungi do not depend on a single strategy, they adapt. Some partner with plants, some decompose wood, some colonize rocks, some thrive in deserts, others survive freezing conditions. A few even tolerate intense radiation. While countless species disappeared forever, fungal lineages repeatedly found new opportunities, new habitats, new partnerships, new ways to survive. That adaptability may explain why fungi remain among Earth's greatest survivors. They are evolutionary masters of persistence. And perhaps nowhere is this more visible than in the fossil record itself. Every fungal fossil offers a glimpse into a vanished world, a world with different skies, different continents, different climates, different creatures, yet somehow connected to our own, because every mushroom growing today carries echoes of those ancient ancestors. The mushroom beneath a modern oak tree shares ancestry with organisms that witnessed the rise of forests, the appearance of insects, the age of dinosaurs, the emergence of mammals, the arrival of humanity, a lineage stretching backward through incomprehensible spans of time. There is something deeply humbling about that realization. When we see a mushroom after rain, it appears temporary, fragile, short-lived, a delicate structure that may disappear within days. But behind that fleeting appearance lies a history older than mountains, older than forests, older than almost every ecosystem we know. The mushroom itself is brief. The lineage is ancient. And perhaps that is one of the most beautiful lessons fungi offer. Life is larger than any individual organism, larger than any single species. It stretches across time through countless generations, a continuous thread connecting distant worlds. And fungi may possess some of the longest threads of all. As we continue deeper into their story, we begin to see them differently, not merely as mushrooms growing after rain, but as living descendants of survivors, witnesses to lost worlds, ancient travelers carrying memories from eras long vanished, quiet historians of Earth itself, standing silently among us, just as they have for hundreds of millions of years. 6. The strange partnership that built Earth's forests. Without fungi, forests as we know them may never have existed at all. Tonight, as you settle in and allow your thoughts to slow, imagine Earth hundreds of millions of years ago. There were no towering pine forests, no vast jungles stretching beyond the horizon, no autumn leaves drifting through cool air, no birds singing from branches, no squirrels leaping between trees, no forests at all. The continents looked barren, harsh, and strangely empty. Rock dominated the landscape. Wind swept across exposed stone. The soil that modern forests depend upon barely existed. And yet, hidden within this seemingly lifeless world was a partnership quietly preparing the planet for one of the greatest transformations in Earth's history. A partnership between plants and fungi. A partnership so successful that it would eventually cover continents with forests, reshape the atmosphere, alter the climate, and create habitats for countless future species, including us. The story begins more than 450 million years ago. At that time, life had already flourished in the oceans for hundreds of millions of years. The seas teemed with strange creatures. Ancient fish swam through shallow waters. Primitive algae drifted beneath sunlight. But the land remained largely empty. For living things, leaving the ocean was extraordinarily difficult. Water provided support. Water delivered nutrients. Water protected delicate cells from drying out. On land, everything changed. The sun was harsher, the air was drier, nutrients were difficult to access, and there was no established soil to anchor roots. Any plant attempting to colonize the continents faced enormous challenges. Yet somehow, life succeeded. Scientists now believe fungi played a crucial role in making that success possible. Many of the earliest land plants formed partnerships with fungi almost immediately. The relationship was simple. Plants could capture energy from sunlight through photosynthesis. Fungi excelled at gathering water and minerals from the environment. Together, they became stronger than either could be alone. The fungal threads spread through cracks in rocks and primitive soils. They absorbed phosphorus, nitrogen, and other essential nutrients. These nutrients were then shared with the plant. In return, the plant supplied sugars created through photosynthesis. It was an ancient exchange, a trade agreement written not in words, but in biology. And it worked brilliantly. Even today, more than 80% of plant species still maintain similar relationships. The system became so successful that it survived hundreds of millions of years of evolution. Every forest you have ever seen is built upon this ancient alliance. In a sense, modern forests are living monuments to one of Earth's oldest partnerships. As the relationship expanded, something remarkable happened. Plants began spreading farther across the land. Small, moss-like organisms were joined by larger species. Roots dug deeper, stems grew taller, new ecosystems emerged, and everywhere plants went, fungi followed. The underground world became increasingly interconnected. Invisible threads stretched through the developing soil. Nutrients moved, water flowed, information traveled. What had once been isolated patches of vegetation slowly transformed into vast living networks. The forests were beginning to take shape. The changes extended far beyond the plants themselves. As forests expanded, they altered the atmosphere. Trees and their ancestors absorbed carbon dioxide from the air. They released oxygen. Over millions of years, this process helped reshape Earth's climate. The world gradually became more hospitable for increasingly complex life. Animals eventually followed. Insects appeared among the vegetation. Later came amphibians, then reptiles, then mammals. But beneath all of them remained the fungal foundation, the quiet partner that made much of it possible. It is easy to overlook fungi because so much of their work happens underground. We notice the trees, we admire the flowers, we photograph the forests. Yet beneath every root system lies another kingdom equally important. Imagine walking through an old-growth forest. Massive trunks rise overhead. Sunlight filters through layers of leaves. Birds call from distant branches. The scene feels dominated by trees. But hidden below your feet, fungal threads may stretch for kilometers. Every root tip may be wrapped in microscopic fungal structures. Every handful of soil may contain countless living connections. The forest above exists because of the world below. Scientists call many of these relationships mycorrhizae. The word means fungus root. It describes the intimate connection between fungal networks and plant roots. The fungus extends the reach of the plant. The plant feeds the fungus. Both benefit, and together they create systems far more efficient than either could achieve alone. Some researchers compare these networks to natural transportation systems. Nutrients move from one place to another. Resources flow toward growing seedlings. Water can be redistributed during dry periods. Entire communities become linked through fungal pathways. The comparison is not perfect. Fungi are not consciously managing forests, yet the outcome often appears astonishingly coordinated. A forest can behave less like a collection of individuals and more like a connected living system. The deeper scientists look, the more complex these relationships appear. Some fungi specialize in helping specific tree species. Others connect dozens of different plants simultaneously. Certain fungal partnerships improve resistance to drought. Others help protect plants from disease. Still others increase growth rates. The variety is extraordinary. What appears to be a simple mushroom after rain may actually be the visible tip of an underground network performing countless ecological functions. And these partnerships have endured through some of Earth's greatest catastrophes. They survived asteroid impacts. They survived ice ages. They survived mass extinctions. When forests disappeared, fungi persisted. When forests returned, fungi helped rebuild them, again and again, for hundreds of millions of years. There is something deeply comforting about that persistence. The partnership between fungi and plants is older than dinosaurs, older than flowering plants, older than birds, older than mammals. It has weathered almost every challenge Earth has faced. And tonight, as you listen, that same partnership continues outside your window, beneath city parks, beneath gardens, beneath forests, beneath mountain valleys. Invisible threads are still exchanging nutrients, still supporting roots, still maintaining relationships that began long before humanity existed. Perhaps that is one of the most beautiful lessons fungi offer. The most important forces are not always the most visible. A forest appears to be a kingdom of trees, but beneath every trunk stands an ancient alliance. A quiet partnership built on cooperation rather than competition. A relationship that transformed barren continents into green worlds. And even now, long after the first plants ventured onto land, the work continues, silently, patiently, thread by thread beneath the soil. The forests above sway in the wind, leaves rustle softly, branches stretch toward the sky. But far below, hidden in darkness, fungi continue the ancient labor that helped build the living world itself. And perhaps as sleep slowly approaches, you can imagine those endless networks beneath the earth, tiny threads weaving through stone and soil, carrying water, sharing nutrients, connecting lives. The invisible architects of forests, the forgotten partners of trees, the ancient alliance that helped transform a rocky planet into the green and vibrant earth we call home. 7. Mushrooms that survive where life should fail. Some fungi thrive inside rocks, endure deserts, survive radiation, and persist in places where most life would quickly perish. At first, that statement sounds almost impossible. When we imagine the toughest environments on Earth, we picture scorching deserts where rain may not fall for years. We think of frozen Antarctic valleys where temperatures plunge far below anything humans could comfortably endure. We think of radioactive wastelands, barren stone landscapes, and places so hostile that even hardy plants struggle to survive. These are places where life appears to reach its limits. And yet, fungi continue to surprise us. Again and again, scientists venture into environments that seem nearly lifeless, only to discover fungal communities quietly thriving where almost nothing else can. It is one of the most remarkable lessons in biology. Life is often far more resilient than we imagine, and fungi may be among the greatest survivors our planet has ever produced. Tonight, let us travel into some of Earth's harshest environments and meet the organisms that refuse to surrender. We begin in the desert. At first glance, deserts appear empty. Endless stretches of rock and sand bake beneath the sun. Daytime temperatures soar. Water vanishes almost instantly. The ground seems incapable of supporting complex life, yet appearances can be deceiving. Look closely at a desert stone, then look closer still. Within microscopic cracks and pores hidden from the worst of the heat, fungi may be living entire lives. These organisms are known as endolithic fungi. The word literally means inside rock. Rather than living on the surface, they retreat into tiny spaces within the stone itself. There, temperatures remain slightly more stable, moisture lingers longer, radiation is reduced. The rock becomes both shelter and fortress. To us, a stone appears lifeless. To these fungi, it can be a home. Imagine spending your entire existence within a space thinner than a sheet of paper. No forests, no sunlight filtering through leaves, no dramatic landscapes, only darkness, minerals, and patience. Yet these fungi endure. Some grow so slowly that a single generation may span decades. Others can remain dormant for years, waiting for the briefest hint of moisture before becoming active once again. Their lives unfold at a pace almost beyond human imagination. And still, they survive. The story becomes even more extraordinary in one of the driest places on Earth. The Atacama Desert in South America receives so little rainfall that parts of it have gone years without measurable precipitation. Scientists often compare portions of the Atacama to the surface of Mars. The landscape feels alien. Salt-encrusted plains stretch toward distant mountains. The air is brutally dry. Water is almost non-existent. Yet fungal life has been discovered there. Some species survive by harvesting microscopic traces of moisture from fog, dew, or mineral deposits. Others hide within salt crystals, where tiny amounts of water remain trapped. The amounts involved are astonishingly small, far less than most living things require. Yet somehow, fungi make it work. They transform scarcity into opportunity. They turn impossibility into persistence. And deserts are only the beginning. Now imagine Antarctica. Not the familiar icy coastlines shown in documentaries. Imagine the dry valleys. These valleys are among the coldest and driest places on Earth. Many scientists consider them one of the closest natural analogs to conditions found on Mars. The landscape feels almost extraterrestrial. Bare rock, frozen ground, virtually no plants, very little precipitation, powerful winds. For much of the year, temperatures remain well below freezing. Yet fungi live there too. Some inhabit translucent rocks where faint sunlight penetrates just deep enough to support minimal biological activity. Others endure repeated freezing and thawing cycles that would destroy most organisms. Their cells contain specialized compounds that help prevent ice crystals from causing catastrophic damage. In a sense, these fungi have become masters of surviving winter. Not for months, not for years, but for entire lifetimes. And then there is radiation. Radiation is one of the great enemies of life. It damages DNA, it disrupts cells, it increases the risk of death. Most organisms attempt to avoid it whenever possible, but some fungi appear remarkably comfortable in radioactive environments. Following the disaster at the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, scientists made an unexpected discovery. Within highly contaminated areas, certain species of dark-colored fungi were growing successfully. Some even appeared to be flourishing. Researchers found fungi colonizing reactor walls where radiation levels remained extraordinarily high. These organisms contained large amounts of melanin, the same pigment responsible for skin, hair, and eye color in humans. Melanin appeared to provide protection against radiation damage. Some studies even suggested the fungi might be using radiation in ways that enhanced their growth. The exact mechanisms remain an active area of research, but the discovery challenged long-standing assumptions about where life can exist. Suddenly, environments once thought too hostile seemed less absolute. If fungi could survive there, what other limits might be flexible? What other boundaries might eventually fall? These questions become even more intriguing when we look beyond Earth. Because every time scientists discover fungi surviving extreme cold, extreme drought, or intense radiation, another possibility emerges. Perhaps life elsewhere in the universe might also be more resilient than we expect. Some fungi have survived experiments aboard spacecraft. Others have endured simulated Martian conditions. Researchers continue studying their remarkable abilities because fungi may someday become valuable companions in future space exploration. Imagine a future colony on Mars. The first settlers arrive carrying not only machines and supplies, but living fungal cultures. Those fungi help recycle waste. They help build soil. They help create sustainable habitats. Mycelium-based materials may even form parts of future structures. Walls grown rather than manufactured. Shelters cultivated rather than assembled. It sounds like science fiction, yet many of these ideas are already being explored today. The same resilience that allows fungi to survive deserts and radiation may eventually help humanity survive beyond Earth. But perhaps the most remarkable aspect of fungal survival is not their toughness, it is their flexibility. Unlike many organisms that specialize narrowly, fungi possess an extraordinary ability to adapt. They can shift into dormant states. They can alter growth rates. They can cooperate with other organisms. They can colonize environments that seem entirely unsuitable for life. They do not rely on speed. They do not rely on strength. They survive through patience, through chemistry, through persistence, through an almost endless capacity for adaptation. There is something strangely comforting about that. In a world that often celebrates power, fungi remind us of a different kind of success. The ability to endure, the ability to wait, the ability to survive conditions that appear impossible. A desert storm eventually arrives. A frozen landscape briefly warms. A crack opens in a rock. A droplet of water appears, and the fungi are ready, always ready, waiting quietly beneath the surface. Perhaps that is why fungi have survived for hundreds of millions of years. They do not fight the world. They adapt to it. They find opportunities where others see obstacles. They discover pathways where others see dead ends. And in doing so, they reveal something profound about life itself. Life is not merely strong. Life is inventive. Life is patient. Life is astonishingly resourceful. And nowhere is that lesson clearer than in the fungal kingdom. From deserts to frozen valleys, from radioactive ruins to the possibility of future worlds, fungi continue to demonstrate that survival is not always about dominating an environment. Sometimes it is about understanding it, working with it, enduring it, quietly persisting until conditions improve. As you settle deeper into rest tonight, imagine those hidden survivors scattered across the planet. Tiny fungal threads tucked inside stone, dormant spores waiting beneath desert sands, dark colonies thriving where radiation still lingers, ancient organisms enduring conditions that would seem impossible to most forms of life. Silent, patient, resilient. Proof that life often finds a way, not by being the strongest, but by refusing to give up. If these extraordinary survivors are changing the way you see life on Earth, take a moment to like the video. It helps more curious minds discover these hidden stories. Then settle back, relax, and join us as our journey through the hidden kingdom of fungi continues. 8. The secret language of fungal networks. What if the forest is constantly exchanging information beneath the soil, and fungi are helping carry the messages? At first, it sounds almost like science fiction, a hidden communication system, an underground web connecting trees, plants, and fungi. Messages moving silently through darkness, warnings traveling between living organisms, resources flowing from one part of the forest to another. For generations, forests appeared to be collections of individuals. A tree stood alone, a fern grew independently, a mushroom emerged after rain. Each organism seemed to live its own separate life. But over the past few decades, scientists have uncovered evidence suggesting that forests may be far more interconnected than anyone once imagined. And at the center of this hidden world lies one of nature's most extraordinary networks, the fungal kingdom. Tonight, let us venture beneath the forest floor once more, far below the roots, beyond the fallen leaves, into a realm of microscopic threads where information, resources, and life itself may travel in ways we are only beginning to understand. Imagine standing in an ancient forest. Towering trees rise overhead. Their trunks have witnessed centuries of storms. Birdsong drifts through the canopy. Sunlight filters through layers of leaves. Everything appears calm, still, silent. Yet beneath your feet, a vast network may already be active. Millions upon millions of fungal filaments stretch through the soil. These threads, known as hyphae, weave together into larger structures called mycelium. Together they form one of the largest biological networks on Earth. A single handful of healthy forest soil may contain kilometers of these microscopic strands, invisible highways crossing through darkness, linking roots, connecting plants, touching countless lives at once. For years, scientists believed these fungal networks simply helped transport nutrients and water. That alone would have been remarkable. But evidence began to reveal something even more intriguing. Plants connected through fungal networks sometimes appeared to influence one another. Not consciously, not deliberately, but in ways that suggested information might be moving through the system. Consider a tree under attack. An insect infestation begins feeding on its leaves. Damage spreads. The tree responds by producing defensive chemicals. That part is expected. Plants have evolved countless defenses against herbivores. But in some experiments, nearby plants began activating similar defenses before the insects ever reached them. How did they know? One possibility involved fungal connections. Researchers discovered that chemical signals could move through underground networks linking different plants. Information about stress, danger, or environmental conditions might travel through these pathways. Not as language in the human sense, not as thoughts or intentions, but as biological signals carrying useful information. A warning system hidden beneath the forest floor. Imagine that for a moment. A caterpillar begins feeding on one plant. Chemical messages start moving underground. Nearby plants prepare themselves. Defenses strengthen. Protective compounds increase. The attack has not arrived yet, but preparations have already begun. The forest responding before the danger spreads. It feels almost impossible. And yet nature repeatedly demonstrates that cooperation and communication can emerge in surprising ways. The deeper researchers look, the more fascinating the picture becomes. In some forests, large established trees appear connected to younger seedlings through fungal networks. The older trees capture enormous amounts of sunlight. They produce abundant sugars. Some studies suggest that portions of these resources may move through fungal pathways toward smaller neighboring plants, especially shaded seedlings struggling beneath the canopy. It is not charity. Nature rarely operates according to human morality. Instead, these exchanges emerge through complex ecological relationships shaped by evolution. Yet the result can appear astonishingly cooperative. A young seedling surviving beneath giants, supported at least in part by a network hidden underground. Scientists sometimes refer to older, highly connected trees as hub trees. These individuals possess extensive root systems linked to vast fungal communities. Like major intersections in a transportation network, they connect numerous pathways simultaneously. When one of these trees dies, the surrounding ecosystem can be affected in unexpected ways. Connections disappear, resource flows change, entire underground communities reorganize. It is a reminder that forests are not merely collections of separate organisms. They are systems, relationships layered upon relationships. connections built over decades, centuries, and sometimes even longer. Of course, it is important to be careful. Popular media occasionally exaggerates these discoveries. Terms like talking trees or forest intelligence can create misleading impressions. Trees are not holding conversations. Fungi are not transmitting thoughts. The reality is more subtle and perhaps even more beautiful. Chemical signals, nutrient exchanges, physiological responses, complex interactions emerging from millions of years of evolution. The forest does not think like a human, but neither is it simply a collection of isolated individuals. It occupies a fascinating space somewhere in between, a living network shaped by constant interaction. And fungi are among its most important architects. The fungal threads themselves face remarkable challenges. They navigate around stones, cross microscopic gaps, search continuously for nutrients, expand through the soil in every direction. In many ways, they resemble explorers, patiently mapping the hidden landscape beneath the forest. As they grow, they connect roots that may belong to entirely different species. Pines, birches, maples, ferns, wildflowers. A single fungal network may touch dozens of plants simultaneously, each contributing resources, each receiving benefits, each participating in a system far larger than itself. There is something profoundly humbling about this. We often think of strength as independence, the ability to stand alone. Yet nature frequently reveals another path: connection, cooperation, interdependence. The forest thrives not because every organism succeeds alone. It thrives because countless relationships support one another. And nowhere is that lesson more visible than beneath the soil. The fungal network also shapes the movement of nutrients: phosphorus, nitrogen, water, carbon compounds. These valuable resources rarely remain stationary. Instead, they flow through complex pathways. Some areas become sources, others become destinations. The network constantly adjusts to changing conditions. A drought arrives, water becomes scarce. A tree falls, new opportunities emerge. Seasons change, the underground system responds, always adapting, always reorganizing, always moving. Perhaps the most astonishing realization is how much of this occurs completely beyond our awareness. For most of human history, we walked through forests without knowing these networks existed. The soil seemed like dirt. The roots seemed isolated. The mushrooms appeared temporary. Only recently have we begun uncovering the extraordinary complexity hidden beneath every step. Even now, scientists continue making new discoveries. New fungal species, new ecological relationships, new forms of underground cooperation. Each discovery expands our understanding of what a forest truly is. Not merely trees, not merely plants, but an intricate web of relationships spanning multiple kingdoms of life. A living system built from connection. As evening deepens and your thoughts begin to slow, imagine that hidden world beneath the forest floor. Countless threads stretching through darkness, roots gently intertwined with fungal filaments, chemical signals moving silently between organisms, resources flowing where they are needed most. A hidden network older than human civilization, older than cities, older than history itself. No voices, no words, no spoken language. And yet information moves. Life responds. Connections endure. The forest above may appear quiet, but beneath the soil, an invisible exchange continues every moment. A secret language written in chemistry, carried by fungal threads, maintained by ancient partnerships, and whispered endlessly through the living earth. The deeper we look, the more we discover that the natural world is not built from isolation. It is built from relationships. And fungi, hidden beneath our feet, may be among the greatest connectors life has ever evolved. 9. The beautiful and deadly chemistry of mushrooms. The same kingdom that gives us bread, medicine, and delicious meals also produces some of the most powerful toxins found in nature. There is something wonderfully strange about mushrooms. On one hand, they help bake our bread. They help create cheeses. They give us life-saving medicines. They enrich forests. They recycle entire ecosystems. They support life in ways we are only beginning to understand. Yet hidden within the very same kingdom are organisms capable of stopping a human heart, destroying a liver, triggering vivid hallucinations, or causing a fatal poisoning from a meal that looked perfectly harmless. Tonight, we step into one of the most fascinating contradictions in nature, the beautiful and deadly chemistry of fungi. A world where nourishment and danger often grow side by side. A world where survival depends not on strength or speed, but on molecules. Invisible compounds crafted through millions of years of evolution. Chemical masterpieces hidden inside soft and silent mushrooms. Imagine walking through a forest after rain. The air smells fresh. Drops of water cling to leaves. Mushrooms emerge from the earth in every direction. Some are bright red. Others glow gold beneath the sunlight. Some resemble tiny umbrellas. Others appear like delicate flowers. They look harmless, even beautiful, and that beauty can be deceptive. Unlike venomous animals, mushrooms do not bite. They do not chase prey. They do not defend themselves through claws or teeth. Instead, fungi rely heavily on chemistry. Their weapons are invisible. A single mushroom may contain hundreds of unique compounds. Some discourage insects. Others prevent bacteria from invading. Some protect against grazing animals. Others help fungi compete against rival microorganisms living in the soil. Every compound serves a purpose. Every molecule tells a story of survival. Over millions of years, fungi became some of the greatest chemists on Earth, and their laboratory is evolution itself. One of the most famous examples is the deathcap mushroom. At first glance, it appears surprisingly ordinary, pale, elegant, unassuming. Nothing about it suggests danger. Yet this mushroom contains toxins called amatoxins. These molecules are extraordinarily effective. They attack cells by disrupting a process essential for life itself. The body's organs gradually begin to fail. The liver is especially vulnerable. What makes the toxin particularly frightening is its patience. Symptoms may not appear immediately. Hours can pass, sometimes even an entire day. A person may initially believe everything is fine. Meanwhile, the toxin continues its silent work. It is a sobering reminder that nature's most dangerous weapons are not always the most obvious. Sometimes danger arrives quietly, wrapped in beauty, hidden behind innocence. Yet even this story reveals something fascinating. The deathcap did not evolve its toxins to harm humans. Humans are accidental participants in a much older evolutionary drama. The toxins evolved to discourage animals, insects, and microorganisms from consuming the fungus. What appears personal is actually ecological. Nature is not targeting us. It is simply pursuing survival. Again and again, through chemistry. And fungi have developed an astonishing variety of chemical solutions. Some mushrooms contain compounds that affect the nervous system. Others influence perception. Some alter behavior. Others create sensations unlike anything encountered in ordinary life. For centuries, people across different cultures encountered these mushrooms and struggled to explain their effects. Some believed they were magical. Others believed they were sacred. Many considered them portals to other worlds. Today, we understand much more about the chemistry involved, yet the mystery has not entirely disappeared, because the human brain remains one of the most complex structures in the known universe. And certain fungal molecules possess the remarkable ability to interact with it. A tiny compound, a microscopic molecule, and suddenly perception changes. Colors seem different. Time feels altered. Thoughts move along unfamiliar pathways. The experience can feel profound, confusing, enlightening, or overwhelming. What is remarkable is that these effects emerge from chemistry. Molecules shaped by fungi over evolutionary timescales. Molecules that happen to interact with human biology in extraordinary ways. But fungal chemistry is not only about toxins or altered consciousness. Many compounds have become invaluable to humanity. Perhaps the most famous example arrived by accident. In 1928, a scientist named Alexander Fleming noticed something unusual growing in one of his laboratory dishes. A mold had contaminated the experiment. Around it, bacteria were dying. The mold was producing a substance capable of inhibiting bacterial growth. That substance eventually became penicillin, the world's first widely used antibiotic. Its discovery transformed medicine. Millions of lives have been saved because of compounds originally produced by fungi. The implications are difficult to overstate. Diseases that once killed enormous numbers of people became treatable. Surgeries became safer. Infections became manageable. All because a fungus happened to evolve a chemical weapon against bacteria. What fungi created for competition, humanity transformed into medicine. And penicillin was only the beginning. Scientists continue discovering useful compounds from fungi today. Some help suppress immune responses during organ transplants. Others assist in treating cholesterol disorders. Many remain under investigation. The fungal kingdom contains an immense chemical library, most of which has yet to be fully explored. Imagine a vast archive hidden beneath forests and fields. Millions of species, billions of molecules, countless possibilities. Some dangerous, some beneficial, many still unknown. Every mushroom represents a collection of chemical innovations developed through evolutionary trial and error, nature experimenting over hundreds of millions of years. The deeper researchers investigate, the more surprises emerge. Even mushrooms that appear nearly identical can possess completely different chemical profiles. One may be edible, its neighbor may be toxic. To the human eye, they seem almost indistinguishable. To biology, they are entirely different organisms. This is one reason mycologists approach mushroom identification with such care. Appearance alone can be misleading. Chemistry tells the real story, and chemistry is often invisible. There is something poetic about that. We live in a visual world. We trust what we see. Yet fungi remind us that reality frequently operates beneath the surface. The most important features may be hidden. The most powerful forces may be invisible. A mushroom's true identity often lies not in its shape or color, but in the molecular world concealed within its tissues. Perhaps nowhere is this more apparent than in the extraordinary colors fungi produce. Bright reds, electric blues, golden yellows, deep purples. Many of these pigments serve practical purposes: protection from sunlight, defense against microbes, support for other chemical functions. Yet to us they appear as art, a forest transformed into a living gallery, beauty emerging from biochemistry. The same chemistry that can heal, the same chemistry that can harm, the same chemistry that has shaped fungal evolution for hundreds of millions of years. And so the fungal kingdom becomes a study in contrasts: danger and medicine, poison and nourishment, death and healing, fear and wonder. It is tempting to place organisms into simple categories: good or bad, useful or harmful, safe or dangerous. But fungi resist such simplicity. They occupy the space between, complex, nuanced, impossible to reduce to easy labels. Perhaps that is why they continue to fascinate us. They remind us that nature rarely conforms to human expectations. The forest is not divided into heroes and villains. It is filled with organisms pursuing survival through whatever strategies evolution provides. And fungi have become masters of one of evolution's most powerful tools: chemistry. As you relax tonight and allow your thoughts to drift, imagine the hidden molecular world surrounding every mushroom. Tiny compounds flowing through delicate tissues, invisible defenses protecting fragile organisms, ancient chemical recipes refined over unimaginable stretches of time. Some capable of healing, some capable of killing, many capable of things we still do not fully understand. A silent kingdom of chemists working beneath the forest canopy, crafting molecules, shaping ecosystems, influencing history, and reminding us that even the smallest mushroom may contain mysteries far deeper than its appearance suggests. In the world of fungi, beauty and danger often share the same cap, and perhaps that is what makes their story so endlessly fascinating. 10. The mushrooms that shape entire ecosystems. Every fallen leaf, dead tree, and decaying branch depends on an army of unseen fungal workers to complete the cycle of life. As you settle in tonight, imagine standing in an ancient forest after a gentle rain. The air smells of damp earth and moss. Drops of water cling to fern leaves. Towering trees rise into the darkness above. Everything appears peaceful, still, unmoving. And yet beneath your feet, an immense process is unfolding. A process so important that without it, forests would slowly bury themselves beneath their own remains. Every leaf that falls, every branch that snaps during a storm, every tree that eventually dies, all of it must be recycled. All of it must return to the living world. And fungi are among the greatest recyclers Earth has ever produced. At first glance, decay may seem like destruction, something ending, something disappearing. But nature sees it differently. Decay is transformation, the old becoming new, the dead feeding the living. And fungi are the masters of that transformation. Consider a fallen tree. The moment it crashes to the forest floor, its journey is not over. In many ways, it is only beginning. Almost immediately, fungal spores begin landing on the bark. Tiny filaments penetrate microscopic cracks. Mycelium spreads through the wood like invisible roots. Slowly, patiently, the fungus begins dismantling one of nature's toughest materials. Wood may seem simple, but it is actually an extraordinary engineering achievement. Trees build themselves from cellulose and lignin. Cellulose provides structure, lignin provides strength. Together they create material durable enough to support enormous trunks for centuries. Most organisms cannot easily break these compounds apart, but fungi evolved a remarkable solution. Specialized enzymes, biological tools capable of dissolving the very molecules that give wood its strength. White rot fungi, for example, can break down lignin itself. This ability is extraordinarily rare in nature. Scientists often describe it as one of the most important innovations ever to appear on Earth. Without fungi capable of decomposing wood, forests would look dramatically different. Dead trees would accumulate for centuries. Nutrients would remain trapped inside trunks. Carbon cycles would slow. New growth would struggle. Entire ecosystems would change. Instead, fungi unlock the resources stored inside fallen wood. Nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, carbon, all slowly released back into the environment. The forest wastes nothing, and fungi make that possible. In many forests, a fallen tree becomes what ecologists call a nurse log, a dead trunk transformed into a nursery. As decomposition progresses, mosses begin to colonize the surface. Seeds settle into cracks, moisture accumulates, insects move in, tiny animals find shelter. Eventually, young trees begin growing directly from the decaying wood. Life emerging from death. A cycle repeated countless times across millions of years. If you could speed up time and watch a forest over centuries, you would see this process everywhere. Trees rising, trees falling, fungi dissolving old structures, new life growing from the remains. A continuous exchange. Nothing truly wasted. Nothing truly ending. Even the soil beneath the forest owes much of its richness to fungi. When leaves fall each autumn, they create a blanket across the ground. At first, the leaves appear intact, but beneath them, fungal threads begin their work. Enzymes break apart complex compounds. Nutrients are extracted. Organic matter is transformed into humus. This dark, fertile material becomes one of the most important components of healthy soil. Humus acts like a giant sponge. It stores water, retains nutrients, supports microbial communities, feeds plant roots. Without fungi, much of this transformation would happen far more slowly. The soil itself would be poorer, less fertile, less alive. Yet fungi do not work alone. The forest floor is home to an astonishing partnership between fungi and countless other organisms. Beetles chew through wood, termites tunnel through logs, earthworms mix organic material into soil. Bacteria digest compounds fungi leave behind. Each group contributes, but fungi often serve as the foundation upon which many of these relationships depend. In a sense, they are the engineers of decomposition, creating opportunities for entire communities to thrive. Some fungal species specialize in particular materials. Certain fungi prefer pine needles, others favor hardwoods. Some target animal remains, others excel at breaking down grasslands. Together, they form a vast recycling network capable of processing nearly every form of organic matter found on Earth. This specialization helps maintain ecological balance. Different fungi occupy different niches, different roles, different jobs within nature's recycling system. The result is extraordinary efficiency. Nothing accumulates forever. Resources continue moving, energy continues flowing, life continues renewing itself. Even after wildfires, fungi play a critical role. In landscapes blackened by flames, certain species appear almost immediately. These are known as fire-loving fungi. Some spores remain dormant in soil for years, waiting. Then, when heat and smoke signal that a fire has passed, they awaken. Fruiting bodies emerge across the burned landscape. The fungus begins helping the ecosystem recover, recycling charred organic matter, preparing the soil for future growth, assisting the long process of regeneration. Once again, fungi stand quietly at the center of ecological recovery, not as heroes, not as rulers, but as indispensable participants, hidden workers performing tasks few creatures can accomplish. Their influence extends far beyond forests. Grasslands rely on fungal decomposition. Wetlands rely on fungal decomposition. Deserts rely on fungal decomposition. Even cities rely on fungal decomposition. Every natural ecosystem depends on organisms capable of recycling biological material. And fungi are among the most effective recyclers ever to evolve. Without them, Earth's surface would gradually become overwhelmed by organic debris. Dead matter would accumulate faster than it could be processed. Nutrients would become locked away. Life would lose access to the resources it needs. The cycle would falter. The balance would weaken. Instead, fungi maintain the flow, the circulation system of the biosphere, transforming yesterday's life into tomorrow's possibilities. And perhaps that is one of the most beautiful lessons fungi offer. They remind us that endings are often beginnings in disguise. The fallen tree becomes a nursery. The dead leaf becomes fertile soil. The decaying log becomes a habitat. The old world becomes the foundation of the new. Nothing remains unchanged. Everything participates. Everything contributes. As you continue listening tonight, imagine the quiet forest floor beneath the darkness. Beneath every leaf lies a story of transformation. Beneath every fallen branch, a network of fungal threads is patiently at work. Invisible, silent, yet shaping entire ecosystems one molecule at a time. The forest above may capture our attention with its towering trees and green canopy, but the true architects of renewal are often hidden below, working in darkness, recycling the past, building the future, one thread at a time. 11. Why mushrooms create such strange shapes. From coral-like structures to bird nests, antlers, fingers, and delicate umbrellas, fungi seem determined to challenge our imagination. As you settle in tonight, imagine walking slowly through a damp forest after rainfall. The air is cool, the ground is soft beneath your feet. Around you, countless leaves glisten with moisture. And then, tucked beside a fallen log, you notice something strange, a cluster of mushrooms shaped like tiny coral reefs. Nearby stands another that resembles a miniature umbrella. Further ahead, black finger-like structures emerge from the soil like skeletal hands reaching toward the sky. And nestled among the leaf litter sits a fungus that looks remarkably like a tiny bird's nest filled with eggs. It feels almost impossible, as though nature has become an artist experimenting with every shape imaginable. Yet these strange forms are not accidents. They are solutions. Elegant answers to challenges that fungi have been solving for hundreds of millions of years. Tonight we journey into one of the most fascinating mysteries of the fungal kingdom. Why do mushrooms look so strange? Why do they take forms that resemble coral, antlers, fingers, cups, stars, cages, and fans? And why does nature seem to repeat certain shapes again and again? To understand the answer, we must first remember something important. The mushroom itself is not the organism. At least, not entirely. What we call a mushroom is simply the fruiting body, a temporary structure, a reproductive organ. The vast majority of the fungus remains hidden underground as mycelium. The mushroom exists for one primary purpose: to release spores. Everything about its shape ultimately serves that goal. At first glance, mushrooms appear wildly diverse, but underneath that diversity lies a common challenge. How do you spread microscopic spores as efficiently as possible? Different species have arrived at different answers, and those answers have produced some of the most extraordinary forms in nature. Consider the classic mushroom shape. The familiar umbrella, cap above, stem below, gills hidden underneath. This design is remarkably effective. The elevated stalk lifts the spores higher into air currents. The cap protects the delicate gills from rain, and the gills themselves dramatically increase surface area. More surface area means more spores. A simple design, yet astonishingly efficient. Now imagine a fungus growing in a different environment, perhaps a dense forest with little wind, or a humid jungle where moisture constantly clings to surfaces. The traditional umbrella may not be the best solution. Evolution begins experimenting. Over countless generations, shapes change. Structures become more elaborate. New designs emerge. Some fungi evolve into branching coral-like forms. Instead of concentrating spores beneath a cap, they distribute them across hundreds of tiny branches. Each branch creates additional surface area. Each branch offers another opportunity for spores to enter moving air. The result resembles an underwater reef transplanted onto land. Coral fungi often appear so delicate that they seem carved from ivory, tiny forests growing within forests. And yet every branch exists because physics favors efficiency. Nature repeatedly discovers that branching structures maximize exposure. We see the same principle in rivers, in trees, in blood vessels, and in fungal coral, a design language shared across life itself. Other fungi take an entirely different approach. Bird's nest fungi produce tiny, cup-shaped structures filled with what appear to be miniature eggs. The resemblance is astonishing, but these eggs are actually packets of spores called peridioles. When raindrops strike the cup, physics takes over. The impact launches the spore packets outward. Some travel surprisingly far. Others attach themselves to nearby vegetation. The entire structure functions like a biological catapult, a sophisticated dispersal system disguised as something whimsical and charming. The shape feels magical, yet behind the fairy tale appearance lies engineering. Then there are the fungi that resemble antlers, coral branches, sea fans, flames, or frozen lightning. Many of these forms evolved because branching structures expose more reproductive surfaces to the air. The shape may appear artistic to us, but evolution is not pursuing beauty. It is pursuing success. Beauty simply emerges along the way. Perhaps one of the strangest examples is the fungus known as dead man's fingers. Dark, club-shaped, almost unsettling in appearance. These black protrusions rise from decaying wood like fingers emerging from the earth. Their eerie appearance has inspired countless legends, yet they are simply fruiting bodies, releasing spores into passing air currents. The human mind searches for meaning. Faces, hands, animals, patterns. We see familiar shapes because our brains evolved to recognize them. The fungus itself has no intention of resembling fingers. That meaning exists entirely within us. And perhaps that reveals something fascinating. The strange shapes of fungi tell us as much about human imagination as they do about fungal evolution. Some mushrooms resemble stars, others form lattices. Certain stinkhorn species emerge from eggs and unfold into intricate cages that seem more appropriate for alien worlds than earthly forests. The lattice stinkhorn, for example, produces a bright red structure resembling a geometric sculpture. To encounter one unexpectedly is to feel momentarily transported into another realm. Yet even here, the explanation returns to spores. The open lattice increases airflow. The foul odor attracts insects. The insects transport spores. Every unusual feature serves a purpose. Function creates form. Again and again, perhaps nowhere is this more obvious than in fungi that rely on insects. Some species produce sticky surfaces, others release powerful scents. Some resemble flowers, others mimic decaying flesh. Each shape is part of a strategy, an evolutionary conversation spanning millions of years. The fungus does not move. It cannot chase opportunity. Instead, it shapes itself into something opportunity will come to, a remarkable solution for a stationary organism. What makes fungal shapes especially fascinating is that many emerge from simple mathematical rules. Mycelium grows outward seeking nutrients. Branches form where resources are abundant. Expansion follows gradients of moisture and energy. Over time, complex structures arise from surprisingly simple behaviors. This phenomenon appears throughout nature. snowflakes, shells, tree branches, river deltas, and fungal networks. Complexity emerging from simplicity. Order emerging from countless tiny decisions. Even fairy rings reveal this principle. A fungal colony expands outward underground. As nutrients become depleted at the center, growth continues at the edges. Eventually, mushrooms appear in circles, perfect geometric rings stretching across meadows. For centuries, people attributed these formations to fairies, spirits, and supernatural forces. The reality is no less enchanting. Mathematics itself drawing circles across the landscape. Invisible growth made visible. The deeper scientists study fungal forms, the more they discover that mushrooms are master problem solvers. Each shape represents a successful strategy tested by evolution. Each structure tells a story about airflow, moisture, light, animals, competition, and survival. Yet despite everything we have learned, fungi continue to surprise us. New species are discovered every year, new forms, new adaptations, new geometries, entire categories of shapes waiting to be understood. The fungal kingdom remains one of the least explored realms of life on Earth, and perhaps that mystery is part of its enduring appeal. Because when we encounter a coral fungus glowing softly beneath moss, or a bird's nest fungus holding tiny spore-filled eggs, or an antler-shaped mushroom rising through morning fog, we experience something rare, a reminder that nature's imagination often exceeds our own. The forest is not merely a collection of organisms. It is a gallery, a museum of evolutionary experiments, millions of years of problem solving, expressed through shape. And among all its exhibits, fungi may be the most inventive artists of all. As you continue drifting deeper into tonight's journey, imagine those hidden forms scattered across forests around the world. Tiny umbrellas, living coral, bird nests, antlers, stars, cages, fingers, each one carrying spores into the future, each one shaped by ancient pressures and invisible forces, and each one reminding us that the natural world is far stranger, more creative, and more beautiful than we often realize. Sometimes the most extraordinary designs on Earth are not built by human hands. They simply emerge quietly from the forest floor after rain. 12. The unexpected ways mushrooms help humanity. The future of sustainable materials, medicine, agriculture, and even construction may be growing quietly in fungal laboratories right now. As you settle comfortably and let your mind wander deeper into tonight's journey, imagine a future city. Not a city built entirely from steel, not one covered in concrete and glass, but a city partially grown, walls cultivated rather than manufactured, packaging that returns harmlessly to the soil, buildings that heal tiny cracks on their own, materials that begin as living networks before becoming useful objects. At first, it sounds like science fiction. Yet some of these technologies already exist, and many of them begin with something surprisingly humble. Fungi. For most of human history, mushrooms were viewed primarily as food, medicine, or occasionally poison. People gathered them from forests, cooked them, studied them, feared them, admired them. But only recently have scientists begun to appreciate the extraordinary potential hidden inside fungal biology. The more we learn about fungi, the more they seem less like simple organisms and more like master engineers, experts in recycling, architects of complex materials, chemists of astonishing sophistication, partners that may help humanity solve some of the most difficult challenges of the coming century. And perhaps nowhere is this more evident than in the remarkable substance known as mycelium. Beneath every mushroom lies an intricate network of microscopic threads. This network, called mycelium, is the true body of the fungus. It spreads through soil, wood, and organic matter, growing, branching, connecting, responding to its environment. For millions of years, fungi have used mycelium to build vast underground networks. Now, scientists are learning how to use those same networks to create entirely new materials. Imagine filling a mold with agricultural waste, corn stalks, hemp fibers, sawdust, then introducing fungal mycelium. The fungus begins growing through the material, thread by thread, binding everything together, strengthening it, reinforcing it. Eventually, the structure becomes solid, strong, lightweight, and remarkably durable. At that point, the growth can be stopped. The result is a material created not by factories, but by biology, a material grown rather than manufactured. Today, mycelium-based packaging already offers an alternative to certain forms of plastic foam. Unlike conventional packaging, which can remain in landfills for centuries, mycelium materials can decompose naturally, returning nutrients to the earth, completing a cycle fungi have practiced for hundreds of millions of years. What once protected a product during shipping can eventually become part of the soil itself, waste transformed into renewal. It is a very fungal solution. But packaging is only the beginning. Researchers are also exploring fungal materials for construction. Imagine walls grown from fungal composites. Insulation created from living networks. Bricks that require far less energy to produce than traditional materials. Some experimental designs even investigate self-healing structures inspired by fungal growth. Tiny cracks could potentially be repaired through biological processes rather than costly repairs. Nature has spent billions of years learning how to build efficiently. Humanity is only beginning to pay attention. And then there is medicine, one of the oldest and most important gifts fungi have ever given humanity. The story begins with a simple observation: a mold growing where bacteria could not. In 1928, Alexander Fleming noticed that a fungal contaminant appeared to inhibit bacterial growth. That discovery eventually led to penicillin, one of the most important medicines in human history. Millions upon millions of lives have been saved because of compounds originally produced by fungi. Yet penicillin is only one chapter in a much larger story. The fungal kingdom is a vast chemical laboratory. Every species engages in chemical warfare, communication, defense, and cooperation. To survive, fungi manufacture an extraordinary variety of compounds. Some fight bacteria, some repel insects, some influence animal behavior, some regulate growth. Many remain completely unknown to science. Researchers continue discovering fungal molecules with potential applications in medicine. Antibiotics, antiviral compounds, anti-inflammatory treatments, cancer therapies, immune system regulators. The possibilities seem almost endless. Every newly discovered fungal species may contain chemical innovations evolved over millions of years, libraries of biological knowledge hidden inside organisms few people ever notice. And the exploration has only just begun. The fungal kingdom contains millions of species. Most remain undescribed, untested, unknown. Who knows how many future medicines still wait beneath fallen logs or hidden within forest soils? Agriculture may also be transformed by fungi. For centuries, farmers have understood that healthy soil produces healthy crops. Today, scientists increasingly recognize that fungi play a crucial role in that relationship. Mycorrhizal fungi form partnerships with plant roots. They extend far beyond the reach of roots alone, collecting water, gathering nutrients, transporting phosphorus and nitrogen, helping plants survive drought, improving resistance to disease. In exchange, plants share sugars produced through photosynthesis. Both partners benefit. A collaboration refined through hundreds of millions of years. Modern agriculture often relies heavily on fertilizers and chemical inputs, but fungal partnerships may offer more sustainable alternatives. Instead of forcing productivity through external inputs, farmers can encourage biological systems that naturally support plant growth. In some cases, fungal inoculations improve crop performance while reducing resource consumption. The future of farming may depend not only on machines and technology, but also on strengthening ancient partnerships already present beneath our feet. Fungi may even help address one of humanity's greatest environmental challenges: climate change. Across forests and grasslands worldwide, fungal networks help store enormous amounts of carbon underground. Through partnerships with plants, fungi transfer carbon into soils, where it can remain for decades or centuries. Scientists are now studying how these natural processes influence global carbon cycles. The goal is not to treat fungi as magical solutions. The climate challenge is complex, but understanding fungal ecosystems may reveal powerful natural allies already working quietly beneath the surface. Sometimes the most effective technologies are not new inventions. Sometimes they are ancient systems we are only beginning to understand. And then there is perhaps the most futuristic possibility of all: space. If humans one day establish permanent settlements beyond Earth, fungi may travel with us, not simply as food, not merely as companions, but as builders, recyclers, engineers. Some fungal species tolerate radiation levels that would damage many other organisms. Others thrive in extreme conditions. Researchers have explored the possibility of growing fungal materials in space, using local resources, reducing the need to transport heavy construction materials across enormous distances. Imagine a future habitat on Mars, its walls grown rather than assembled, its waste recycled through fungal systems, its agriculture supported by underground fungal networks. The idea sounds futuristic, yet many of the fundamental concepts are already being studied today. Once again, fungi reveal themselves as remarkable partners: adaptable, efficient, patient, innovative. Perhaps the most inspiring aspect of all these developments is the lesson they teach. For centuries, humanity often approached nature as something to conquer, something to dominate, something to reshape according to our needs. Increasingly, science suggests a different path: learning from nature, collaborating with it, studying solutions refined through evolutionary time. Fungi embody this philosophy perfectly. They do not waste resources. They recycle, adapt, cooperate, build, renew. Their innovations emerged long before humans appeared, long before cities, long before technology, long before civilization itself. And now, in laboratories around the world, scientists are discovering that some of the answers to tomorrow's problems may have been quietly growing beneath forest floors all along. The future may not belong solely to machines, or algorithms, or towering factories. It may also belong to living systems, ancient organisms whose hidden talents are only beginning to be revealed. As you drift deeper into the quiet rhythm of tonight's journey, imagine those fungal networks stretching beneath forests, fields, and meadows across the world. Invisible threads connecting life, recycling waste, building soil, creating medicines, inspiring new materials, perhaps even helping humanity reach the stars. Not bad for organisms most people notice only after rain. And perhaps that is one of the greatest lessons fungi offer. The most transformative forces are not always the loudest. Sometimes they work silently, patiently, beneath the surface, changing the world one thread at a time. Tell us in the comments which fungal innovation surprises you most. The answers may inspire future journeys into the science of tomorrow. And if you've been enjoying this relaxing exploration through the hidden kingdom of fungi, consider subscribing and joining us for future adventures into the quiet wonders of science, nature, and the universe. 13. Could mushrooms help humans live in space? The idea sounds almost absurd at first. When humans eventually leave Earth and attempt to build permanent settlements on the Moon, Mars, or worlds even farther away, we usually imagine advanced computers, powerful rockets, artificial intelligence, and sophisticated life support systems. We imagine steel, glass, robots, machines. But what if one of the most important companions on that journey is something far older than any technology we have ever built? Something that existed hundreds of millions of years before the first dinosaur. Something that helped transform barren landscapes into living ecosystems. Something capable of surviving radiation, drought, starvation, freezing temperatures, and environments that would quickly kill most plants. A fungus. Tonight, as we continue our journey through the hidden kingdom of fungi, we will explore one of the most fascinating possibilities in modern science. Could mushrooms help humans live in space? Could fungal networks become part of future colonies on Mars? Could living structures grown from mycelium one day replace some of the buildings we currently manufacture? And perhaps most intriguingly, could the same organisms that helped shape Earth long ago help transform entirely new worlds in the future? As always, settle in comfortably, let your thoughts drift, and together, let's travel from the forest floor to the stars, because the story of fungi may be far bigger than Earth alone. For most of human history, space exploration has focused on machines. Rockets launch satellites, robotic rovers explore distant planets, space stations orbit above the atmosphere. Technology dominates every image we associate with the cosmos, and understandably so. Space is an incredibly hostile place. There is almost no air. Extreme temperatures swing between blistering heat and deadly cold. Radiation constantly bombards exposed surfaces. Water is scarce. Resources are limited. Every kilogram launched from Earth costs enormous amounts of money. In such an environment, survival seems to depend entirely on engineering. Yet modern scientists are increasingly discovering that biology may play an equally important role, not merely carrying life into space, but helping create entirely new environments where life can thrive. And among the organisms being studied, fungi continue appearing in surprisingly important conversations. The reason begins with a simple fact: fungi are survivors. Some fungal species can remain dormant for years. Others tolerate intense ultraviolet radiation. Some grow in deserts, some live inside rocks, others survive freezing Antarctic conditions. Certain fungi have even been discovered thriving in environments contaminated by nuclear disasters, places where radiation levels would be dangerous for many forms of life. Scientists studying the aftermath of the disaster at the area surrounding the Chernobyl disaster found fungi capable of growing in highly radioactive environments. Some species appear able to utilize pigments such as melanin to help manage radiation exposure. These discoveries attracted attention not only because they were biologically fascinating, they also suggested something important. If fungi can survive some of Earth's harshest conditions, perhaps they could survive conditions beyond Earth as well. In many ways, Mars resembles an enormous environmental challenge. The atmosphere is thin. Surface radiation levels are high. Temperatures are often far below freezing. Liquid water is scarce. Nutrients are limited. For plants, these conditions are extremely difficult, but fungi have always specialized in difficult environments. They do not require sunlight in the same way plants do. Many can survive on surprisingly small amounts of nutrients. They excel at breaking down materials and recycling resources, and that makes them valuable candidates for future space habitats. Imagine the first permanent Martian settlement. Food scraps accumulate, plant waste builds up, packaging materials wear out. Human activity constantly generates organic waste. On Earth, ecosystems recycle these materials naturally. In space, every resource matters. Nothing can be wasted. This is where fungi may become indispensable. Mycelium can break down organic matter and return nutrients back into circulation. Instead of treating waste as garbage, future colonies could transform it into valuable resources. The fungal network becomes part recycler, part farmer, part environmental engineer, quietly keeping the artificial ecosystem functioning. A role remarkably similar to the one fungi already perform across Earth's forests. In some ways, they would simply continue doing what they have always done, supporting life from behind the scenes. But recycling is only the beginning. One of the most exciting areas of research involves fungal construction materials. Traditionally, building materials require extraction, manufacturing, transportation, and significant energy. Concrete must be mixed, steel must be forged, bricks must be fired. All of this becomes extraordinarily difficult on another planet. Transporting massive amounts of construction material from Earth would be enormously expensive. So scientists have begun asking a different question. What if we could grow buildings instead? Mycelium offers a fascinating possibility. When fungal networks grow through agricultural waste or other organic materials, they create dense, lightweight structures. Once dried and processed, these materials can become surprisingly strong. Researchers have already created experimental insulation panels, packaging materials, furniture components, and structural prototypes using mycelium-based composites. The concept feels almost futuristic, a habitat that is cultivated rather than manufactured, a structure that grows. Instead of shipping every wall from Earth, astronauts might bring fungal cultures. Feed them local organic resources, allow them to expand, and then shape the resulting material into usable components. The building literally emerges from biology. The idea sounds revolutionary, yet it follows principles fungi have practiced for hundreds of millions of years: growth, adaptation, resource efficiency, transformation. Perhaps the most remarkable engineer in a future space colony won't be a machine. It may be a living network spreading silently through carefully designed molds. Researchers have also explored whether fungal materials could help protect astronauts from radiation. Radiation remains one of the greatest challenges for long-term space travel. Earth's magnetic field shields us from much of the harmful radiation constantly moving through space. Mars lacks that protection. Future colonists will need shelter. Traditional shielding can be heavy and difficult to transport. Some scientists have proposed combining fungal materials with local resources to create protective structures. Certain fungi naturally produce melanin-rich tissues capable of interacting with radiation. Although much research remains ongoing, these studies highlight an intriguing possibility. Living biological materials might contribute to future radiation protection systems. The same fungal chemistry that evolved under Earth's harsh conditions could help humans endure extraterrestrial ones. And then there is food. Not mushrooms as luxury ingredients, not gourmet cuisine, but as part of a resilient food production system. Many edible fungi require relatively little space. Some can grow vertically. Others can be cultivated on agricultural byproducts. Compared to traditional livestock, mushrooms demand far fewer resources. For long-duration missions where efficiency matters, fungi could become an important supplemental food source. Nutritious, compact, adaptable, easy to cultivate within controlled environments. Future astronauts may harvest mushrooms in orbital habitats, just as gardeners harvest vegetables today. A small fungal farm quietly contributing to survival. Yet perhaps the most profound possibility involves something much larger: terraforming. The transformation of an alien environment into one capable of supporting life. The concept remains speculative. Humanity is still far from transforming an entire planet. But if such a process ever begins, fungi could play a surprisingly important role. After all, they have done something similar before. Hundreds of millions of years ago, Earth's continents looked dramatically different. Bare rock dominated much of the landscape. Early plants struggled to establish themselves. Nutrients were limited. Soil barely existed. Fungi helped change that. Their partnership with plants accelerated weathering. Their chemistry broke down minerals. Their networks improved nutrient access. Together, plants and fungi gradually transformed barren surfaces into ecosystems. Forests followed. Animals followed. Complex terrestrial life followed. The world became habitable because countless organisms cooperated across unimaginable spans of time. If humanity ever attempts something similar elsewhere, fungi may once again be among the pioneers. Not because they are powerful, but because they are patient. They excel at beginnings. They specialize in turning difficult environments into living ones. The same traits that made them successful on ancient Earth could make them valuable companions on future worlds. And there is something strangely beautiful about that possibility. When we imagine space exploration, we often focus on the newest technologies, the fastest computers, the most advanced spacecraft, the latest innovations. Yet one of our greatest allies may belong to a lineage nearly 1 billion years old, an ancient kingdom that has quietly survived extinctions, climate shifts, asteroid impacts, and planetary transformations. A kingdom that rarely attracts attention. A kingdom hidden beneath our feet. Fungi remind us that survival is not always about speed, or strength, or dominance. Sometimes survival belongs to those who cooperate, those who recycle, those who adapt, those who patiently build foundations others depend upon. If humanity someday stands beneath an artificial sky on Mars, if green habitats bloom within distant colonies, if living structures rise from biological materials rather than factories, there is a good chance that fungi will be there. Not in the spotlight, not leading the headlines, but doing what they have always done, supporting life, quietly, patiently, one invisible thread at a time. And perhaps that is the most fitting future imaginable for the fungal kingdom. Because from Earth's first forests to humanity's first worlds beyond Earth, the story of fungi has always been the story of connection, a hidden network linking impossible beginnings to extraordinary possibilities. And somewhere in that future, beneath alien soil and unfamiliar stars, ancient fungal threads may once again be preparing a world for life. 14. The hidden kingdom beneath every garden. Before we journey to distant rainforests, ancient deserts, or the deepest corners of the fungal kingdom, it is worth pausing for a moment to consider something surprising. You may not need to travel anywhere at all to find one of the most complex ecosystems on Earth. It might already be beneath your feet, right now, perhaps just beyond your front door. perhaps beneath a patch of grass, a flower bed, a vegetable garden, or even the soil beneath a crack in the sidewalk. Because hidden beneath nearly every garden on Earth exists an invisible kingdom, a living world crowded with partnerships, rivalries, negotiations, construction projects, transportation networks, chemical messages, and microscopic dramas unfolding every second of every day. Most of us never notice it. We walk across lawns, we plant flowers, we water vegetables, we rake leaves, and all the while an extraordinary community is quietly at work beneath the surface. A world where fungi play some of the most important roles of all. Tonight, let us shrink our perspective, not to the size of mountains, not to the scale of forests, but to the hidden universe beneath an ordinary garden. Because once you see it, you may never look at soil the same way again. At first glance, soil appears simple, brown, silent, still. To human eyes, it often looks like little more than dirt, a substance that supports plants, something to dig into, something to walk upon. Yet scientists increasingly describe healthy soil as one of the most biodiverse environments on Earth. A single handful can contain billions of microorganisms, thousands of species, tiny animals, bacteria, protozoa, nematodes, algae, and vast networks of fungi. The ground beneath a garden is less like a pile of dirt and more like a living city, a bustling metropolis operating entirely out of sight, and fungi are among its most important engineers. If we could somehow remove all the soil and reveal only the fungal networks hidden beneath, the scene might resemble a sprawling transportation system, threads branching in every direction, highways connecting routes, tunnels weaving between stones, delicate bridges spanning tiny underground gaps. The mycelium never rests. It is constantly growing, exploring, testing, connecting, responding. The garden that appears calm above ground is actually humming with activity below, and much of that activity depends on fungal networks. One of the most remarkable relationships in this hidden kingdom involves plants. Most gardeners think they are caring for individual plants, a tomato plant, a rose bush, a carrot, a sunflower. Yet underground, those plants are often far less isolated than they appear. Fungal networks frequently connect neighboring roots into enormous systems of exchange. Water can move through these connections, nutrients can travel, chemical signals can pass from one plant to another. A plant experiencing stress may trigger changes that ripple through nearby fungal networks. Scientists continue studying exactly how these interactions function. The details are complex. The mechanisms are still being investigated. But one thing is increasingly clear. Plants often exist as participants in communities rather than isolated individuals, and fungi frequently help maintain those communities. In many ways, a healthy garden is less like a collection of separate organisms and more like a living neighborhood, every resident connected by invisible infrastructure. Yet not all fungal interactions are cooperative. Beneath every garden, competition is also taking place. Countless fungal species compete for territory, for nutrients, for space, for opportunities to expand. Some fungi release chemicals that inhibit rivals, others establish defensive boundaries. Some grow aggressively through available resources, while others specialize in patience and endurance. To human observers, a flower bed may appear peaceful, but underground, complex ecological struggles unfold continuously. Not violent struggles, not dramatic battles, but subtle contests shaped by chemistry and time. Slow negotiations conducted over weeks, months, and years. The winners are rarely the strongest. Often, they are simply the most adaptable. A lesson fungi have been teaching for hundreds of millions of years. One of the greatest services fungi provide within gardens is decomposition. Every autumn leaf, every fallen petal, every dead root, every broken stem eventually becomes food for something. Without decomposers, gardens would quickly become buried beneath their own remains. Layer upon layer of undecomposed organic matter would accumulate year after year. Nutrients would remain trapped. New growth would struggle. The cycle of life would slow. Fungi prevent that from happening. They are among nature's greatest recyclers. Their enzymes can break apart substances that many other organisms cannot easily digest. Cellulose, lignin, complex plant tissues, materials that appear durable and permanent gradually yield to fungal chemistry. A fallen leaf becomes nutrients. A dead branch becomes soil. decay transforms into renewal. What appears to us as an ending often marks the beginning of another cycle. The garden survives because fungi continually convert yesterday into tomorrow. And perhaps nowhere is fungal influence more obvious than after rainfall. You have likely experienced it. A garden that seemed unchanged one evening suddenly reveals mushrooms the next morning. Small umbrellas scattered across the grass, clusters emerging beside trees, tiny fruiting bodies pushing through mulch. Their appearance feels almost magical, as though they emerged from nowhere. But of course, they did not. The visible mushroom is merely the brief appearance of a much larger organism already living below. For weeks, months, sometimes years, the mycelium has been quietly growing underground, waiting, expanding, gathering resources. Then conditions become favorable. Moisture arrives, temperatures align, and the fungal network briefly reveals itself. What we see is only the surface expression of a much deeper reality, a reminder that most of nature's work happens out of sight. The same principle applies to many aspects of life. The visible results often receive attention. The hidden foundations do not. Yet the foundations are what make everything possible. Gardens also reveal another remarkable truth about fungi. They create resilience. Healthy fungal communities help soil retain moisture. They improve soil structure. They reduce erosion. They support nutrient cycling. They create environments where countless other organisms can thrive. Imagine a heavy rainstorm. Water falls rapidly. Without stable soil structure, much of that water would simply run away. But fungal filaments help bind soil particles together. They create tiny spaces that improve water retention. The ground becomes more capable of absorbing and storing moisture. The result benefits plants, microbes, insects, and countless other organisms. Fungi act almost like ecological architects, designing environments where life becomes easier for others. Not intentionally, of course, simply through the natural consequences of their existence. Yet the effect is profound. A thriving fungal community often makes an entire ecosystem more stable. Even the scents of a garden reveal fungal activity. After rain, many people notice a rich, earthy smell rising from the ground. Part of that fragrance comes from compounds produced by soil organisms. Fungi contribute to this invisible chemistry. The aromas of forests, gardens, and damp earth are often signatures of biological activity occurring beneath the surface. A reminder that life communicates not only through sight and sound, but through scent as well. Long before we understand the science, we often recognize these signals instinctively. The smell of wet soil feels comforting to many people. Ancient, grounding, familiar. Perhaps because it connects us to processes that have shaped life for hundreds of millions of years. And the deeper scientists explore soil ecosystems, the more astonishing they become. Entire microbial highways, nutrient exchanges, predator-prey relationships, chemical signaling networks, communities nested within communities, a hidden world layered beneath the visible one. Every garden contains mysteries still being discovered. Every handful of soil holds stories we have only begun to understand, which makes an ordinary garden seem far less ordinary. The grass outside your home is not merely grass. The flower bed is not merely flowers. The soil is not merely dirt. Beneath it lies a kingdom, ancient, busy, endlessly interconnected. A world where fungi quietly support the systems that allow life above ground to flourish. And perhaps that is one of the most beautiful lessons fungi offer us. The most important work is not always visible. The strongest connections are often hidden. And sometimes the greatest wonders on Earth are not found in distant rainforests or unexplored wilderness. Sometimes they're waiting beneath the garden outside your door, patiently carrying out their ancient work, one invisible thread at a time. 15. What mushrooms teach us about life and survival. Before we reach the end of our journey through the hidden kingdom of fungi, there is one final mystery worth exploring. Not a mystery about spores or glowing mushrooms or ancient forests, but a mystery about survival itself. Because if we step back and look at the fungal kingdom as a whole, something remarkable becomes clear. Fungi may be among the most successful forms of life that have ever existed on Earth. They do not dominate the landscape the way forests do. They do not fill the oceans like plankton. They do not run, fly, hunt, or build civilizations. Most people rarely think about them at all. And yet fungi have survived for hundreds of millions of years. They have endured asteroid impacts, mass extinctions, ice ages, continental shifts, volcanic catastrophes, climate upheavals. Entire worlds have come and gone around them. And through it all, fungi have remained, quietly adapting, quietly expanding, quietly thriving. Perhaps because fungi reveal something that many other organisms do not. Success is not always about power. Sometimes it is about flexibility. Sometimes it is about cooperation. Sometimes it is about patience. And perhaps that is why the fungal kingdom has so much to teach us. When we think about survival, we often imagine strength. A lion hunting prey. An eagle soaring above mountains. A whale crossing entire oceans. Nature seems full of examples where power appears to determine success. Yet fungi challenge that idea. Fungi are rarely the strongest organisms in an ecosystem. They are often fragile. Many mushrooms live only days. Some are destroyed by sunlight. Others disappear after a single frost. Their fruiting bodies can be crushed beneath a boot, eaten by insects, destroyed by weather, gone almost as quickly as they appear. And yet the organism survives, because the mushroom was never the whole story. The real organism remains hidden. The network persists. The foundation endures. This may be one of the first great lessons fungi offer. Do not confuse visibility with importance. Much of the most important work in life happens beneath the surface. Roots grow unseen. Friendships deepen quietly. Knowledge accumulates gradually. Character develops slowly. The strongest foundations are often invisible. A mushroom reminds us that what people see is rarely the whole story. The visible moment is supported by countless hidden processes, and those hidden processes often matter far more than appearances. Fungi also teach us about adaptation. Consider how many environments fungi have conquered. Rainforests, grasslands, mountains, Arctic tundra, deserts, underground caves, salt flats, even radioactive environments. Life rarely succeeds everywhere. Most organisms specialize. A cactus thrives where an orchid struggles. A polar bear survives where a tropical bird cannot. Yet fungi seem uniquely talented at finding ways to persist, not because they force the environment to change, but because they change themselves. They adapt, they experiment, they discover opportunities where others see obstacles. This may be one of the deepest principles in biology. Survival does not belong to the strongest. It belongs to the most adaptable. A changing world rewards flexibility, and few groups embody flexibility better than fungi. Some become decomposers, some become partners, some become parasites, some form alliances with plants, some live within rocks, some drift through the air, some glow, some remain dormant for years. Again and again, fungi reveal a willingness to explore possibilities. Life survives because it adapts, not because it refuses to change. Another lesson emerges from the fungal network itself. Cooperation can be as powerful as competition. Human culture often emphasizes competition. Who wins, who loses, who grows fastest, who becomes strongest. Nature certainly contains competition. Fungi compete too. But fungal success often comes from collaboration. Mycorrhizal partnerships connect fungi with plants. Each benefits. Trees provide sugars, fungi provide nutrients and water. Neither succeeds as effectively alone. The relationship is not charity, it is mutual advantage. And that partnership helped transform Earth itself. Forests became possible because countless organisms learned how to cooperate. The lesson is surprisingly profound. Many of life's greatest achievements emerge not from domination, but from connection. Entire ecosystems are built upon relationships. The fungal kingdom understands this better than almost any other. Its greatest strength is often its ability to form partnerships, to link, to connect, to support, to exchange. In a world obsessed with individual success, fungi remind us that networks often outperform isolation. But perhaps the most extraordinary lesson involves patience. Humans are creatures of urgency. We want quick answers, rapid progress, immediate results. We measure time in days and years. Fungi operate on different scales. Some fungal networks persist for centuries. Others may survive for thousands of years. A mycelial network expands slowly, a few centimeters at a time, a little farther each season. No dramatic leaps, no sudden triumphs, just steady growth. Persistent growth, patient growth. And eventually, those tiny increments become enormous systems. This is true throughout nature. Mountains rise slowly, forests grow gradually, rivers carve canyons over ages. The most enduring transformations often happen so slowly that they seem invisible while they occur. Fungi embody this principle beautifully. They remind us that progress does not need to be dramatic to be meaningful. Small changes accumulate. Tiny efforts compound. Patience creates outcomes that urgency rarely achieves. There is another reason fungi have fascinated humans for thousands of years. They exist at boundaries. They emerge suddenly. They appear after rain. They transform death into life. They occupy the space between endings and beginnings. Few organisms symbolize transformation as powerfully as mushrooms. A fallen tree becomes soil. Dead leaves become nutrients. Decay becomes renewal. Fungi reveal something essential about nature. Nothing truly stands still. Everything changes. Everything transforms. What appears to be an ending is often part of a larger cycle. The forest understands this. The soil understands this. The fungal kingdom understands this. Life continues by transforming itself, again and again, generation after generation, for hundreds of millions of years. Perhaps this explains why mushrooms appear so often in myths, stories, and folklore. Across cultures, they have been associated with mystery, magic, rebirth, hidden worlds, transformation. Even before science understood fungi, people sensed there was something unusual about them. They seemed to emerge from nowhere, to appear overnight, to belong partly to the visible world and partly to an unseen one. Today we understand much more about fungal biology, yet the sense of wonder remains, because the truth is no less remarkable than the legends. The real fungal kingdom is stranger than many myths ever imagined. And then there is resilience, perhaps the most important lesson of all. Fungi have survived because they refuse to depend upon a single strategy. If conditions worsen, many become dormant. If resources disappear, they wait. If environments change, they adapt. If opportunities arise, they expand. They persist, not through stubbornness, but through resilience. There is a difference. Stubbornness resists change. Resilience works with change. The fungal kingdom teaches resilience at every level. A network damaged in one location often continues elsewhere. Spores travel great distances. New colonies begin. Life finds another path, again and again. Failure does not necessarily mean ending. Sometimes it means rerouting. Sometimes it means adapting. Sometimes it means beginning again. And perhaps that is why fungi continue to thrive while entire species vanish. They do not insist upon a single future. They remain open to possibility. As our quiet journey continues, it becomes increasingly clear that fungi are more than decomposers, more than mushrooms, more than curious organisms hidden beneath the soil. They are teachers, not intentionally, not consciously, but through the example of their existence. They teach patience, adaptation, connection, transformation, resilience. The lessons are written into every thread of mycelium, every spore drifting through the air, every mushroom emerging after rain. And perhaps the most beautiful lesson of all is this: you do not need to be loud to be important. You do not need to dominate to succeed. You do not need to stand alone to be strong. The fungal kingdom has spent hundreds of millions of years proving exactly that. Quietly, patiently, one hidden thread at a time. And long after countless other stories have ended, those threads will likely continue weaving their way through the living fabric of Earth, carrying forward one of nature's oldest and wisest lessons: that survival is not merely about enduring, it is about learning how to grow through change. 16. The world would collapse without fungi. If every fungus vanished tomorrow, the change would not arrive with a dramatic explosion. There would be no sudden crack across the sky, no warning sirens, no visible line separating the old world from the new. At first, many people might not notice anything at all. The forests would still stand, the grass would still sway in the wind, birds would still sing, rivers would still flow. Life would appear unchanged. But beneath the surface, one of the most important systems on Earth would already be gone. Because fungi are not merely organisms living alongside plants and animals. They are part of the machinery that keeps the entire planet functioning. They are the recyclers, the connectors, the builders, the negotiators. The hidden engineers working silently beneath nearly every ecosystem on Earth. And without them, the balance that has supported life for hundreds of millions of years would slowly begin to unravel. Tonight, as our journey through the fungal kingdom reaches its final chapter, let us imagine what would happen if these quiet architects disappeared forever. And in doing so, we may discover just how deeply connected our lives are to organisms most people rarely think about. The first signs would appear on the forest floor. Every day, billions of leaves fall from trees. Branches snap, plants die, animals leave behind waste, bodies decompose. The natural world constantly produces enormous amounts of organic material. Normally, fungi handle much of this workload. They break down wood. They digest fallen leaves. They unlock nutrients trapped inside dead organisms. They transform yesterday's life into tomorrow's growth. Without fungi, this recycling system would begin to fail. Dead material would accumulate, leaves would pile up year after year. Fallen trees would remain largely intact. Forests would slowly become clogged with their own remains. Imagine a city where garbage collection suddenly stopped. For a day, nothing would seem unusual. After a week, problems would begin. After months, the system would become overwhelmed. Nature faces a similar challenge. Without decomposers, the cycle of renewal begins to stall. The nutrients trapped inside dead organisms cannot easily return to the living world. And once those nutrients become locked away, plants begin facing a problem. Because plants do not simply need sunlight. They need nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, dozens of trace minerals. These resources constantly move through ecosystems thanks to fungi and other decomposers. Remove fungi and nutrient circulation slows dramatically. At first, trees continue growing using reserves already present in the soil, but gradually shortages emerge. New growth weakens, seedlings struggle, forest productivity declines. And then another crisis begins. Many plants depend directly on fungal partnerships. These relationships are called mycorrhizal associations. Throughout this series, we have explored how fungal threads connect with roots. The fungus provides water and nutrients. The plant provides sugars produced through photosynthesis. Both partners benefit. It is one of the most successful collaborations in Earth's history. Scientists estimate that the vast majority of land plants participate in these relationships. Some depend on them so completely that survival becomes difficult without fungal assistance. If fungi disappeared, countless plants would suddenly lose their underground partners. Roots that once reached far beyond their physical limits would become isolated. Access to water would shrink. Nutrient absorption would decline. Entire forests would begin suffering from invisible starvation. The effects would spread slowly but relentlessly. Trees would weaken. Growth rates would fall. Competition would intensify. Some species might disappear entirely from certain regions. And when plants suffer, animals inevitably follow. Herbivores rely on plants. Insects rely on plants. Birds rely on insects. Predators rely on herbivores. Every ecosystem is built from countless connections. When a foundational layer weakens, the consequences travel outward. A decline in plant health becomes a decline in animal populations. Food webs begin losing stability. Habitats shrink. Biodiversity declines. What begins underground eventually reaches every branch, feather, scale, and fur-covered creature above. Even agriculture would face enormous challenges. Modern farming often focuses on crops themselves, but beneath every productive field exists a living community. Fungi help stabilize soil, store nutrients, retain moisture, support root systems. Without fungal activity, agricultural soils become less resilient. Farmers would need increasing amounts of fertilizer simply to maintain productivity. Water retention would worsen. Erosion would intensify. Crop yields could decline. Food production would become more difficult and more expensive. The impact would eventually touch every human community on Earth. And then there is carbon. One of the greatest ecological roles fungi perform involves the movement and storage of carbon. Every plant captures carbon dioxide from the atmosphere. Some of that carbon enters roots, some enters fungal networks, some becomes stored underground. For thousands of years, fungal communities have helped regulate this enormous exchange. Without them, carbon cycling changes dramatically. Scientists are still studying the complexity of these interactions, but it is clear that fungi play a major role in how ecosystems store and process carbon. Remove that influence, and the stability of many natural systems would be disrupted. Yet perhaps the most astonishing realization is how much of this work happens completely unseen. When people imagine important organisms, they often picture large animals: whales, elephants, lions, eagles, creatures that capture attention. But fungi remind us that visibility is not the same as importance. Some of the most influential organisms on Earth spend almost their entire lives hidden underground. Their success comes not from dominance, not from speed, not from strength, but from connection. A fungal network does not conquer a forest. It becomes part of the forest. Its threads weave through roots, soil, stone, water, wood. It links countless living things together into systems larger than any individual organism. And perhaps that is why fungi have survived for so long. For hundreds of millions of years, they have adapted to changing climates, shifting continents, mass extinctions, and evolving ecosystems. They helped plants colonize land. They fed ancient forests. They survived the age of dinosaurs. They endured asteroid impacts. They witnessed worlds come and go, all while remaining largely invisible. In many ways, fungi represent a different model of success. Not the success of domination, but the success of cooperation, the success of persistence, the success of becoming indispensable. As we reflect on everything we have explored throughout this journey, that lesson appears again and again. The glowing mushrooms lighting tropical nights, the fungal cities stretching across forests, the ancient networks hidden beneath mountains, the organisms surviving deserts, radiation, and ice, the partnerships that built forests, the chemistry that creates medicines, the structures inspiring future technologies, the invisible highways carrying nutrients through ecosystems. Every story ultimately points toward the same truth. Life is far more interconnected than it first appears. Nothing exists entirely alone. Every forest depends on relationships. Every ecosystem depends on exchanges. Every living thing participates in networks extending far beyond what it can see. And fungi stand at the center of many of those connections. Perhaps that is why learning about mushrooms often changes the way people see the natural world. You begin by noticing a mushroom growing beside a trail, a small cap pushing through damp soil, something easy to overlook. But the deeper you look, the larger the story becomes. Soon, that mushroom is no longer just a mushroom. It becomes a doorway, a clue, a visible sign of a hidden kingdom stretching beneath your feet. A kingdom that has shaped Earth for hundreds of millions of years. A kingdom that continues shaping it tonight, right now, as forests breathe, as roots grow, as leaves fall, as nutrients move quietly through the soil. The fungal networks continue their patient work. Invisible, ancient, essential. And perhaps there is something comforting in that thought. While we sleep, the world remains busy with processes older than humanity itself. Threads continue weaving through the darkness. Connections continue forming. Life continues renewing itself. Quietly, steadily, endlessly. Thank you for joining this peaceful exploration of the fungal kingdom tonight. As you drift toward sleep, remember that beneath every forest, meadow, and garden, countless unseen threads are still quietly weaving the story of life itself. Rest well, and we'll meet again on the next journey into the hidden wonders of our world.